All right. Hey, welcome everybody to another BD Boxing Podcast, Open Lines Friday edition for everybody out there. Hope you're doing well. Got a lot to talk about, a lot of conjecture, a lot of rumors, I should say. We got some good fights happening tomorrow as well. Hopefully we get a chance to talk about them after we get done with the rumors. Of course, this is your show. You get to talk about whatever's on your mind. Gonna be opening up the Discord very, very soon. Show you how that works out. But before we get down to the fun, let's get the business out of the way, fellas. You know the drill. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And if you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you can certainly do so via the Super Chat feature during the show. It's always better if you join the BD membership program, because that way you get a little bit more bang for your buck. You get some special emojis, badges, film analysis. But the most important thing, like I said, spread that BD gospel. All right, spread it nice and wide. There's still a lot of dirty people out there who might be going to boxing hell if they do not come to the new revelation. All right, that's the number one thing. In any event, shout out to everybody out there in the chat room. I'm talking about the Can Man, Soothsayer. Shout out to Soothsayer. One Foot Out the Door. Shout out to One Foot Out the Door as well. WK Devin in there as well. Who else we got here? SSC, Brian Montes, Rapax Trucking Company. Shout out to Rapax. He says till this day, Haney hasn't and will not sign to fight Cambosos. Oh, well, we're going to talk about a little bit about that again. Still, that fight, no official statement yet on that one. Shout out to Eddie Hernandez, Iceman, Marcy D, Christopher Roman, Hawker Mustang, and many more people to come, I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. All right. Enough stalling here. Let's get right down to it. The reason why everyone's here. Open Lines Friday. Let me show you how it works, fellas, if you're not familiar with it. All right, so, hey, where is the Discord here? Hold on a sec. So I got the Discord here. Actually, that's not the one. There we go. So we got the Discord here, all right? Now, if you join the Discord, as far as I remember, you don't need to validate your registration with an email or anything. You just need to write a username, password, boom, you're in. Just remember that password for in case you want to jump on the Discord again. So as you can see here, there's this here that I'm highlighting here. It says BD Boxing. See how it says voice channel and there's a speaker icon there? You just click on that speaker icon and boom, you're in. I'm in there right now, all by my lonesome. Hopefully some more people join. And that's it. Just click on this. If you're not registered, register on the Discord. It's easy. Takes less than a minute. And then you can click on the speaker icon and that's it. You are in the show. And I can see we already got Chief and one more week. And Soothsayer jumping by as well. All right, fantastic. Boxing Chief, did you just send me a message? I haven't read it yet. All right. I see people
Evening.
are...
Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed, Chief. Good to have you on board, man.
Roger
Good
that.
to have everybody on board.
Thank you as always.
All right. No, fantastic. Of course. All right, let's get down to it, fellas. We've got quite the news here coming in. So I read this last night, and I don't know what to make of it. Supposedly, Tank Davis is intimating that his contract with TMT is up, and everyone's speculating about whether he's going to re-sign with the money team. I read a comment, by the way. I think it was Unboxing 24 or one of those.
Can you hear us, BDA?
Yeah. Why? What happened? All right. We seem to having some difficulties here. Soothsayer, can you hear me? All right. Something's going on here with the sound. Hopefully you guys get it sorted out. Because I know for a fact it's not me. I know that for a fact. What was I going to say about this whole thing? Yeah, so supposedly actually, you know what? It might be me. Hold on a sec. Yo, fellas, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
All right, yeah, because some people said that, I think it was Soothsayer said he couldn't hear me. All right, listen, somebody said in one of the message boards that I was reading, one guy goes, man, Tank Davis, the money team has been doing a great job with him. He's one of the few pay-per-view guys out there. And I'm thinking, okay, just because you fight on pay-per-view doesn't mean you're a pay-per-view star. It seems like some people think it's synonymous. Being on pay-per-view, for them, is synonymous to being a pay-per-view star. Fellas, what should he do? Should he just bail from the money team and join a competent promoter? Or do you think if he stays with Mayweather, eventually the big fights will come? All right.
Well, I mean, we've seen him since he was around 19 years old with 19 fights. He's been with Mayweather the whole time. He's won some belts, some of them more legitimate than others. He has no Hall of Fame credential opponent on his resume now. He's 27 years old. He's a roundish, a pound for pound fighter, meaning there's some people that may want him on there, but he's done nothing to overly sell anyone on this is the next great guy, even though he has a lot of hype around him. So at this point in time, this is like technically the third contract of an NFL contract, if I can put this in a parallel. Your first one you get right out of college, it might be pretty good if you're a first round pick. It might be mediocre. Your second one, if you really blew your first contract out of the water, that's your money one. This is your third contract. In boxing terms, how it usually flips around is your third one is usually like the one that's going to really set you over. Because you should be, by this time, if you're around enough to get a third contract, should be a star by now, should be a household name. People should be wanting to watch you. So are people going to keep paying pay-per-views against fighters that no one cares about? It seems like people are starting to see through this facade that Mayweather's trying to put out there. And basically from Tank saying, my contract's up, is making it sound like he's had enough of it also. I would say there's probably going to have to be a negotiating table sit down between him and the money team saying, you need to start giving me something that's going to make me marketable over the other lightweights. That's my take.
That's a good take right there, man. Now, here's my question. You brought up an interesting point that made me wonder something. Jimmy's always talking about how the PBC guys have a non-disclosure agreement, which is one of the reasons why you seldom see any of these guys badmouthing Al Heyman or the PBC. Technically, is Tank Davis with Al Heyman? Anybody aware of that? Actually, I'm going to Google that.
What exactly do we know about what Tank did? He sounds like he just did like cryptic messaging. It doesn't really seem like there's anything, right?
I mean, it's just he said it's the last fight of his contract, and he said now this is perhaps
that's until. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
that's only. God. All right. That's only until Al Heyman gives calls him and gives him a new price, and that's it, right?
Well, that's
possibly.
Possibly.
I mean, when his contract's up, it becomes a free agent. So the question comes from there: is he going to stick with what he's been with his whole career and not question anything, or is he going to shop the market? I mean, at the moment, none of us know. From what some of us on this show think, he's probably just going to stay ops normal and stay with who he's with because he doesn't know anything else. He hasn't been with anyone else. He hasn't done anything with anyone else. But the option's out there, so he may be wanting to look around and see what else is out there, especially since all the competition he wants is from another company. Hang on one second.
Well, here's the other thing that I want to talk about, the tweet from Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis said, this is the last fight of my contract. That's why they want me to fight this clown. Meaning he's not exactly happy about having to face Romero. And by the way, I didn't say that. I didn't say what you guys thought I was going to say. But am I the only one that's thinking that this Romero fight could potentially turn to a more complicated endeavor?
Well, if I look at it like this, they're both signed to the money team, so at the end of the day, Floyd's going to make money off each fighter as it is. So you know why they wanted him to fight Wally Romero, because he's with the money team also. Now, could this fight be complicated at the end? Yes, it could, because as Tank said, he's in the last fight of his contract. Some way this fight goes to decision, you never know what could happen. They could just go out of nowhere and rob Tank of a decision over Wally. Mm-hmm. And since he's decided not to re-sign with Mayweather, hey, we're going to get Tank take his own away before he leaves. You never know how boxing is these days. It's corrupt at some levels, and at some levels, it's not. But I think he's going to do is possibly become his own, do business for himself. I don't think he's going to sign with anybody right away. He's going to see what his options are and see what's the best fights for him, because right now, all this Floyd and LB done for him was put him against nobodies, and he's making $1 million for each one. depending on who the opponent is. But he's making a minimum $1 million a fight.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of finances, he's pretty well off fighting subpar opposition. That could be one point of view. But I mean, some people could look at that and they go, well, he's comfortable right now. Yeah, but he's a competitor, or he has to have the mentality of a competitor. I can't help but wonder if he feels frustrated knowing that there's even more money on the table, but he just can't get his hands on them because he's not being allowed to fight the best. Yes, go ahead, MMA champ.
What's crazy?
Wait, you just cut me off.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
On the PBC website, it has Gervonta Davis as one of their fighters.
Okay. Which website?
The PBC website.
Okay, so yeah, well, for the moment, he's still...
Right. If you have a fight left on your contract, you're still part of the PBC. You're not, you have one fight left. But what I was going to say...
But the reason that I said that is because everybody thinks that he's just with Mayweather. He's with PBC too.
Right.
Yeah, I realize.
You could tell Gervonta was starting. You could see it in his face. Remember the whole no boxing, no life glove thing that happened with Gervonta?
I don't remember that. What could you maybe refresh your memory?
Sorry. My bad.
He wanted to wear Canelo's gloves, but apparently Mayweather and Elderbein, the PBC, was like, "How the fuck are you going to do that? Canelo hates you." You could just tell at the press conferences when he was going to fight Pitbull, Mayweather was like his dad. He wouldn't let him talk. So something is up. Yeah.
I look at it
I think Mayweather is a controlling parent. I think we need to call Child Protective Services. I really think,
I really look at it like
see
this.
What's going on? I think Mayweather's being abusive behind closed doors.
Wait, MMA champ, are you saying that he could be sexually abusive as well?
No,
of course.
I hope.
I think he shoots Gervonta with those gel blasters in the stomach.
Oh, come on, man. Yeah.
Now I look at it like this, man. Like, to be honest, yeah, he's with Floyd has always been with Al Heyman. Money Team is such another branch of Al Heyman, if you look at it, because technically, Al Heyman still owes people money. He owes Floyd money still for a couple of fights. He still owes other fighters money too. You don't even know he might owe Tank money still.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good point.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, man, I just don't see they look at the pay-per-view numbers and they saw Tank hasn't been really doing good in pay-per-view, and they're bullshitting the public saying that he's a pay-per-view star, and now are they going to go back on it because he wants to leave the Money Team? Because he probably wants better fights? Because, as they said, if it makes sense business-wise, they'll make the fight. And I guess to them, having fights with a Ryan Garcia, a Lomachenko, Kambosos, any other lightweight doesn't make sense to them business-wise. These top lightweights, because Tank doesn't beat a Lomachenko, doesn't beat possibly a Kambosos. I'm not saying he doesn't beat Kambosos, but I think they really are fearful that Tank can't beat these top guys. That's why they haven't matched him up with any of these top guys. And now that Tank is possibly opening his mouth, demanding better fights and everything, better names and better paydays, they don't want to accommodate him. So Tank's going to say, excuse my French, fuck you, pay me more money or I'm out.
Whoa.
Now can I say something? Can I say something about this too? MMA champ said that Mayweather's possibly abusing and possibly of a sexual nature abuse going on there. Now Jay Perez says they're going to feed Gervonta Davis now to a sexual predator in Rolly Romero. So there might be something to that theory there, MMA champ. There might be a sex ring going on.
I think Mayweather might be doing a Teofimo Senior.
Sleeping in the same bed and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is though, what's his name? Drew said, in the press conference, he's not letting Gervonta
It's
Davis
soothsayer.
speak. You know,
Soothsayer.
he's taking the mic from Gervonta Davis. He's covering up the no boxing, no life on Gervonta Davis's gloves. I mean, so you could really see that Floyd's a little controlling. You really think that Gervonta is really calling any shots? No. It's mostly Floyd and Ellerby, big nose Ellerby. So,
Okay.
I mean,
There's very few fighters that actually get to call the shots because I remember when Pacquiao, he was one of the biggest stars. I mean, it was him and Mayweather. Well, yeah, but and that's the other thing is, at which point do these promoters get together and say, you know what? Let's cut this guy down a little bit, teach him a lesson, show him that he's not the one. Because it's very dangerous to have as a promoter, from a promoter standpoint, it's very dangerous to have a fighter that's very powerful because on the one hand, boom, he's going to bring you a lot of money because he's going to make for big events. But at the same time,
at the end of the day, Mr. BDA, you already know the promoters are not the bosses.
That's
Actually,
right.
if you're thinking about it, the fighters are the bosses of the promoters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're the money makers. They bring in the money. So, right? So I just think, Tank finally speak up. I think he should have spoke up a while ago,
Yeah, you're right about that. He's in his prime and everything.
He probably can, though, contractually speaking. He maybe the same deal he has with Al Heyman that he can't criticize the PBC. Maybe Mayweather has the same thing with Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis can't criticize anybody, and maybe that would explain why he's being so cryptic with his tweets.
It's
hey, fellas, let me just
question, guys. Tank Davis, why is he pissed off? Is it about does it have to do with money or because he's fighting bums? Or both?
No, I think maybe it's all this anger, he had, and maybe it's because, he's finally tired of people having a narrative that he's the one picking his opponents and cherry picking, and he's trying to. Maybe he's trying to say it's Floyd doing it and it's Ellerby and it's PBC doing it, not me. But
MMA, don't you think, or don't you guys think that maybe he's looking at what Canelo's doing and these other fighters, and he's like, my career has been stagnating right now. I could be doing much more, considering I have talent. And
guy's almost 30. He's wasting his career.
I see a parallel with the Crawford situation. Do you guys see the resemblance here? How Crawford, he was so reluctant to leave, despite all his competition being limited to ESPN fighters when the big fish that he wants to fight on PBC. But then with Tank Davis, the competition he wants to fight, they're on the zone for his division. They're on the zone and ESPN. But then it's like asking, why did Crawford take so long to finally leave? It's the same thing here. Maybe that's just what he's used to. Maybe he feels like a sense of loyalty to Bob Arum, and it took him forever to leave.
Like how Tank his contract had to be up with Bob first. I mean, he re-signed with Bob, but when he did, he was at 140. And so it was pretty open game. By the time he moved to 147, that's where all the PBC fighters are. He still had a couple years or a couple fights, whichever one, with Top Rank to go before he could leave. He had to wait for the contract to be up. Once it was, he left.
One more week, mate.
That's bullshit.
Do you think that
Fury and Wilder made the fight?
Do you think that Tank Davis will sue Floyd Mayweather for racism?
No, absolutely not. And I cannot in my wildest dreams Tank signing with Bob Arum. That's just inconceivable. Imagine Tank signing with Eddie Hearn. That's just not going to happen. What are the chances of that happening?
And Pucho, Tank may want the Canelo legacy, but he's not fighting the people to get it. Look what they asked him after the Pitbull fight. Do you want to rematch him? Fuck no.
Well, look at it like this. Tank's probably caring about his legacy now. I'm 27 years old. I'm entering the prime of my career. What the hell am I going to do in the prime of my career? I got to fight the best of the best now to have a legacy. In your prime of career, in the prime of your career, you want to build your legacy.
He's just throwing a tantrum. They treat him like a baby. This is a fucking tantrum. That's all it is. He wants money.
Let me finish. Now, to Terrence Crawford, the reason why he resigned because Bob promised him a fight with Manny Pacquiao, and he did not deliver on that. That's why he was so reluctant to leave Top Rank, because he could not get the fight with Pacquiao. When he tried to get the fight with Pacquiao, Bob Arum messed it up. Bob Arum then goes out and says, I'll go bankrupt promoting Terrence Crawford. That's another thing that was a big no-no when it comes to a promoter talking about his own fighter. And that's something that Bob Arum has a history of doing. When Teofimo beat Lomachenko, the guy that was high up on that lightweight chain, he bashed Teofimo, and that's why Teofimo wanted that his fight with Kambosos go to post bid. And then when Donaire lost to Rigondeaux, Bob Arum bashed the hell out of Rigondeaux. And you see what happened to Rigondeaux's career? Bob has a history of doing this bullshit.
Well, can I interject here? First of all, I gotta read a super chat here. Shout out to Ryder of the Storm for his contribution with the super chat. Shout out to Ryder, and he says, "What's up, sexy people? Happy Friday." Friday? What is that? A British thing where people eat that fry up? Anyway, shout out to Ryder of the Storm.
It's Friday. Gotta make it, man.
But can I say something about this? Shout out to Ryder of the Storm, by the way. Don't forget to hit that like button. And by the way, fellas, those of you who are jumping on the Discord here on the panel, don't forget to chime in. I'm not gonna call on you to come in. It's every man for himself here, myself included. So you just gotta fight it out just to speak. So and don't forget to hit the like button, fellas. Hit the like. Can I say something about the Bob Arum thing real quick before anybody else talks? I don't know about the Terrence Crawford thing, because I know Chief and other people have had a different point of view on who was at fault for Crawford not getting the fights on Top Rank. Now there is that clip that MMA Champ showed us one time where Bomac is talking with somebody, and I forget which channel it was, and he says, "Yeah, we had to turn down the Pacquiao fight." So he said they turned it down. So I mean, I don't know who's to blame. I mean, Bob Arum, he does generally throughout his 50-year history of boxing, he does make some big fights. So I don't know why he would have wanted to sabotage Crawford's career, especially with apparently in the contract he said that he had to get him certain fights. I don't see him putting himself in a litigious position just to piss off or spite Crawford. I mean, what do you guys think?
Hey, BDA, what
Terrence
did
Crawford is delusional, man.
Fucking prick.
Yo, salute to everybody on the panel and the
150
chat.
in the building.
What's up,
Yo,
150,
what's
man?
up? And what we talking about today? We talking about Tank Davis, man.
Yeah, we're talking about Tank Davis. We're talking about whether he, again, very cryptic email that he sent out, or Twitter, I should say, tweet that where he says,
I think we need to call him by his name that he would like to be called. Giovanni Stank Davis.
Hey, but also, what did it mean when he tweeted? The guy asked him, "Are you going to join Team Canelo or something?" And then he goes, "I can handle my own, handle my own weight." What the fuck does that mean?
I have no idea, because he doesn't have the clout to go on his own. Look, what Crawford tried to do the same thing. Look what happened.
Man, as in training wise.
What he's saying is he doesn't need like somebody as big as Canelo. You know, he could do it on his own or something.
Hey,
no, he can't.
Exactly.
That's
Why? Because LeBron James was at his fucking fight. They think he's a fucking star.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Tank and Bud on amongst us boxing guys are upper level names, but neither one of them have the clout to do what Canelo's doing.
Knows who the fuck Terrence Crawford is. He
outside of us, you're right.
Himself. That's why he doesn't. That's why that Spence fight hasn't happened. He thinks he's worth more than he actually is.
Well, when he first moved up to a welterweight, a 50-50 request was not an. It was his third title in his third division. Regardless of what you think of the Horn Belt, based off of the Manny Pacquiao situation, he was still higher on the pound-for-pound list. It was a starting point. PBC immediately pulled back to 60-40, and then now when they started adding more belts because their in-house fights went towards 70-30 and 80-20, which is ridiculous. So now they're outpricing themselves. It's a two-way. Hold on. It's a two-way street on outpricing themselves. Bud may not have been a 50-50 fighter, but he's definitely more than a 70-30, 80-20, and the two sides have not sent official offers to either side yet. So all it was postulating on who claims to be a bigger star, feeding their own egos off of words versus actions.
Well, here's a question. Do you guys think 60-40 is an even enough split for this fight? In Spence's favored?
Maybe, based off the fact of what he's done lately, because he's got more
clout right now with the names that people are following, with the belts that he's got, all this stuff coming together. I would say yes, based off of that. But I mean, think about it. Spence is still barely top 5 pound for pound on anybody's list.
Yeah.
Mainstream lists. Okay. Some people might, some
Spence
of us.
is not even on my list.
So there you go. That's another reason.
I got Spence on my list.
Of course you do, Drew.
Okay. On your list or off your list is irrelevant.
What does
The fact
Spence
that he's
do
still not
that's
higher.
so impressive? What does he do that's so impressive?
It's
That
still
makes-
not higher.
Exactly.
He's still not higher than Bud on any list. So with that being said, he thinks he's a bigger fish in a pond that he hasn't even gone to another division yet. Bud's on his 3rd division and could be on his 4th if he can actually negotiate something with the winner of Castana Charlo.
Hey,
So,
Chief,
what does
would
Bud
you
do?
say?
Go ahead.
Would you say, as far as the level of competition that Tank hasn't faced, would you say Pitbull he went 50-50 with him?
Are you talking about what I think of the results of the fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say they went. I'd say they went toe to toe. I'd say I have to go back and I always watch a fight for entertainment, then I go back and I study it for scoring. And I haven't
Exactly.
scored. I haven't gone back to score.
I just want to say this: the like pay-per-view star term is being thrown around too loosely, right? If we look at Tank's last fight, the top of the Staples Center was cornered, like curtained off, right? Also, right? So I, showed Tank Davis, a picture of Tank Davis to my local crackhead, and he didn't know him. So I mean, like, come on, man.
I feel like
If you start.
You
I feel
talk to
like
your local
Pitbull-
crackheads?
Pitbull will always be a tough style matchup for Tank Davis. I feel like even if he had both hands in the fight, I know people don't want to blame it on the hand, but I feel like his style
is overrated at
his style
135.
is too tough for Tank
That's
Davis.
cap.
But listen though,
Why do you think Tank Davis don't want to
come
fight him
into the fight? He did not come into the fight with injury, right? He got it later in the fight. Even if it's a real injury, because we don't know if it's a real injury.
That's
be
right.
honest. He's just saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying injured or not, I feel like Pitbull will always give him a tough fight. Just a bad style matchup. Why you think Tank Davis said no rematch? He know Pitbull's tough. He knew he's a tough fight for him. He knew that.
And like I said on Thunderdome's live stream, Tank wasn't fighting like that because he wanted to show the fans he could box too. No, he was fighting like that because Pitbull made him fight like that.
Oh.
Because the big punches he was throwing was not landing. It was getting on the glove, or it was just completely missing. Okay, that's why he fought like that. It was not because, he wanted to show he was versatile. No.
That's
I
a
had
good
that
point.
fight a draw, but there was a string round
Of
I
course
could have
you
given the
did, Drew.
Cruz.
Hey, what's
Man,
the wait, what's that? Every time Drew says something, MMA champ goes, of course you do, Drew. What are you trying to imply here, MMA champ, about Drew?
Yeah, props on that, BD. That was a good.
Well, thank you. It's because
production.
the internet's fucking up again, so I didn't know if you guys were going to hear me. Thank you, Soothsayer, for that. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
And last thing, legend has it that when the moon is full in Carson, California, you can still hear Rigo's little feet shoveling against the canvas.
That's right. Black Cuban magic right there, Santeria. Hey, fellas, refresh. Everybody listening out there, refresh your stream. We just had some connection issues, but
my favorite part is when you had Ryan Garcia and you had like those male strippers or whatever dancing.
Those weren't strippers. Those were his actual fans, the Ryan Army.
The Ryan Army.
You had like tweets of guys saying they liked Ryan Garcia and stuff.
Those are real, man. Those are real. I didn't Photoshop them or anything. We didn't Photoshop them. Go to his Twitter any day of the week and you will see that there's a lot of undesirables there tweeting back to him. I mean, it's
a lot
disgusting.
of Bati boys.
But now, do y'all think Tank will re-sign? Or is he going to leave Mayweather? I don't know what option he has if he leaves
He's going to
Mayweather.
resign.
Yeah, I agree.
This is to
I
check
agree
him.
with MMA. I think Mayweather split him wide open.
He split him wide open. What's going on here, fellas? What the fuck's going on at this stream? It's turning very bizarre. Hey, but real quick.
Canelo lives in Mayweather's head rent free.
Oh.
And
Can I say something
And
about the whole?
Floyd lives in Gervonta's butt cheeks rent
You
free.
always said easy work, man. Easy work. Canelo was easy work. He just brings it up out of nowhere every
All you hear
post-fight
is
press
Canelo,
conference.
Canelo. Steroids.
I want to say something about back to what MMA Champ was saying about Tank Davis versus Isaac Cruz. Yeah, that fight. I know some people have been trying to say that, like, no, Tank wanted to show that he could box, baby. Really, in his pay-per-view, their second pay-per-view or whatever it was, he's gonna choose to stink out the joint because there was a lot of clinching too. I don't really have a problem with the boxing aspect of it. It's when he started clinching way before the hand injury. That wasn't by design. That was Isaac Cruz making him fight that way.
Yeah, man. That's what I was saying. Yeah, Cruz will always be a tough style. If he really thinks he can beat him and knock him out, like he said, he would have rematched him. He don't want to rematch that man. He said he would knock him out in a rematch, but don't want to fight him. So what are we talking about?
What are we talking about? That's a good question because, and then on top of that, Isaac Cruz.
His time on it.
But who's Isaac Cruz fighting next, by the way? Yorkis Gamboa. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a waste of time, man.
Yeah, Cruz is gonna spark Gamboa for sure.
Yeah.
Gamboa is still around.
How old is he?
Gamboa is about 40, 41. Well, add another 5 years because he's Cuban, so he's got to be like close to his 50s now.
Tank was nearly the first person not to stop Gamboa.
Didn't Gamboa have to sell his gold medal?
Yeah, he had to sell it because the PBC wasn't paying him enough. No, I'm kidding. That was way before. That was way before he joined the PBC. But look, Gamboa is another one of those what-if fighters. He had all the talent, physical talent in the world. He just couldn't put it all together to become an all-time great professional. And at this point, he's been through the ringer against Crawford, against Tank Davis. No, even before that, he lost in an upset to what was the guy's name? Not just Real Corrales, Mexican dude. That stopped him there or something. I forget, but he's been stopped a whole bunch of times. The only one that couldn't stop him was Devin Haney. But even then, this Gamboa kid, he's an old man. Why are they recycling him? Why are they giving Isaac Cruz a meaningful fight in the meantime before he gets a Tank Davis rematch or whatever?
Well, if I may, BDA, I think there's an angle you're not considering here where Gamboa has lost so many brain cells, you can't knock him out because he doesn't have any more to lose.
That's as good a point as I've heard here.
No, I think he's just trying to build up his name.
One at a time, fellas. Go ahead. Somebody jump in.
But, listen, with Gamboa, I think he's just, becoming a journeyman now, for PBC, and their prospects.
Nah, not a journeyman. That's too far.
Yes, bro. They're just.
Oh, do you know what a journeyman is?
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes,
of course you do, MMA.
Are you trying to start me?
Them
Are you trying to start me,
100 fighters that fight every other week, that's a journeyman.
Do you know who I am, bro?
Not a journeyman.
They call me Kim in the streets.
Hey, Malik, of course MMA does know what a journeyman is.
Nah, he's a journeyman.
Look,
bro.
I know who 3-division champion is not a journeyman ever.
Outside of this, okay, he's not a journeyman and he's not quite a gatekeeper. He's more like a valet. And I think he would look great in one of those vests,
No.
Well, let me rephrase.
You just give him his keys.
He's becoming a journeyman.
He can never be a journeyman.
He's not.
Yes, he can. He can. What are you talking about?
3-division champion is never a journeyman. Period. End of sentence.
A journeyman is someone that fights every single week.
Listen. A journeyman is a guy who goes, from people's backyards, whatever, and loses all the time. That's what's going to happen to Gamboa if he keeps fighting. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's not a journeyman. Sorry to interrupt you, MMA, but the definition. The definition of a journeyman is someone who knows enough to defend themselves and is there to kind of work prospects. That's what a journeyman does. He's not fighting prospects. He's fighting contenders. Those are not prospects. You saw Cruz and Devin Haney are not prospects. They're First of all, Haney's a world champion, technically speaking. But they're contenders.
Gatekeeper then.
In your eyes.
He's not in my eyes, but he's a contender, let's say at the very least, right? He's a world-class fighter, regardless of email or whatever, right? I think that's not disputed.
Let's get Jimmy here to weigh in on this. Jimmy, we're having a little discussion here, a little disagreement, a little powwow about what the definition of a journeyman. Would you consider, Jimmy, based on your definition of a journeyman, would you consider Yorkis Gamboa a journeyman at this point?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's definitely not. I wouldn't consider. Well, I mean, not a journeyman. I would consider him. Well, he was he's a gatekeeper at this point. He's already past his prime. Yorkis Gamboa. He's just a name. That's all he is. There's no chance this kid's ever going to become world champion again. There's no chance he's ever going to be a dominant force at whatever weight class he continues at. So, a journeyman to me is a kid still in the up. You reach journeyman, prospect, contender, champion. And then when you're past your prime and you should be out at pasture, you fucking gatekeeper.
What? If you're a journeyman, you play a role in boxing. You don't start boxing as a journeyman.
You don't start boxing as a journeyman. You start boxing as a prospect.
Well, on the way up. Well, anything a prospect, you're on your journey. I always considered your journey to the championship. But
to become a journeyman, you have to also lose a lot of times too, though. You can't just...
That's not true. Actually, hold on. And when the boxing commission saw me from the first time, they're like, "No, this kid's too good. We're gonna have to give him a handicap." So I started with a 0-10 record just to make it fair.
I can believe that. All right, but anyway, look, we're getting into a fucking discussion.
My first amateur fight was against a handicap. So.
Of course it was MMA.
The special handicap section there. Well, listen, if you ever had to beat up a handicapped person, then you haven't been into too many scuffles. But look, at the end of the day, Jimmy, I want to get your thoughts on this. Gervonta Davis. Oh, come on. But Gervonta Davis, Jimmy. Gervonta Davis has been tweeting cryptically about how he supposedly... okay, people are talking over me. What the fuck? Hey, you got to mute your mics, people. Mute your mics while I'm talking here. Or while somebody else is talking. Jimmy, Tank Davis has been tweeting quite cryptically saying that this is his last fight with the money team with Mayweather. What do you think is going on here? Is it all bullshit or?
Well, technically, I think what he said was his contract is up. I don't know. I don't think he actually stated that this is his last fight. I think it was just that this is my last. Listen, he's like any young kid today. He's on social media. He puts his name in on anything, and Christ, when he tweets, you just go down his thread. You go to, and it's just one bash after another bash after another bash. Mm-hmm. You can sit there and say, okay, yeah, but I'm doing numbers, I'm selling some tickets, like he said, but he's still not making the big dollars. So I think he's frustrated. And I don't think he was ever excited to fight Rolly. I know he knows it's beneath him. It's a waste of his fucking time. And he also tweeted that he doesn't even, the only reason why he's fighting this clown is because this is what Mayweather's making him. And I guess it was a fake Coppinger tweet out there from a fake account saying that he's not, Smellaby isn't going to resign Davis, which is silly because he wouldn't be the one to make that decision. But yeah, and yes, no, you're right though. A journeyman, I think, if I remember, I just wanted to say too, a journeyman is someone who continues to compete but doesn't have the ability to excel to the top level.
Well, actually, he would go for me.
What's that?
Because Ellerby is the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, so he does have that authority. Yes.
No, he would on his own. You think on his own? Well, fucking Mayweather's out taking selfies by himself somewhere.
Mayweather's a poster boy, but Ellerby.
But you think Ellerby is going to be? He's the one who's making the decisions. You think any decision he has made? Listen, even Floyd's probably not even making. Let's be honest. It's probably even Heyman behind that, but it's definitely Floyd. Floyd says. I mean, you can put a CEO. You can. CFO, but when there's three people in the whole company, what does it really matter? You know what I mean? And it's Mayweather who has the decision. And I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. If the kid was smart, he'd bail. He'd get the fuck away from them. He'd go with Top Rank. Top Rank would match him tough. But yeah, he might lose, but he's going to get respected. And I'll tell you right now, when you're when he knows that nobody in the business that he competes in respects him, when he's a punchline amongst his peers, that's a fucking hard pill to swallow.
You might not have heard this before,
Has anyone
but in my
watched
opinion,
Tank's interview
wait,
with Milk
hold
Boy?
up, Malik. But in my opinion, I think right, any division you are, right, and you see most of the fighters that you want to fight and that are the top dogs in the division, and they're signed in one promotion company, and you purposely go to the other one. That's ducking, because if you see, like say with Crawford and in the welterweight division, most of the top welterweights are in the PBC, right? So he should have from the start went to PBC if he wanted to get the big fights.
That's someone that doesn't even follow the sport enough to know whether they're not telling the truth. I mean, he was contracted long term to Bob Arum before he even moved up to welterweight. He can't just drop that and say, hey, "You're fired. I don't want to deal with you anymore."
Yes, but he did resign after the deal was up. He did resign, so he could have went to PBC already.
Okay, so but then he did, and what happened? He got the door slammed in his face. Hey, I'm here, guys. I'm not under Bob Arum anymore. What are you gonna do for me? And Tim Smith says, "But that's not what. That's
really.
First off, don't talk over me. Second, Tim Smith, T-Swizzle himself, head of public relations, said, I met with Crawford. We didn't even make him an offer to fight anybody because we didn't want to insult him.
Oh.
That was his words. So, and then he went and met with the Probellum people. He went to Europe and met with the Probellum people. Whatever happens going forward, it doesn't matter. The guys in the PBC, they had all the welterweights under the umbrella of the PBC. It took 2.5 years.
It's probably Crawford's fault because he's so spoiled from Top Rank because they're paying him a lot. So now he goes to another promotional company and he quickly finds out that's not how it works over there.
Then I agree with you.
And now
You're 100%
he ended
right.
up burning the bridge anyway because no other promotion company is going to pay him like Top Rank did.
Agreed.
Nope.
Very true.
But I don't know how that's a duck.
Can I say real quick, shout out to Vladdy V for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Usyk is a definition of a journeyman. Shout out to Vladdy V. And he's right. He's a journeyman because he fights all over the globe. He's a globetrotter. He's got no qualms about fighting abroad. So shout out to Vladdy V for his contribution. Always enjoyed. Now let me bring up this subject here, fellas, if I may. Again, I mentioned that Tank Davis is making a nice living, fighting some opposition, but don't you guys think that the competitor in him is looking at other guys out there and saying, not only are these guys better than the guys I'm facing, but I could also make more money fighting them. Like Frank said in Scarface, never underestimate the other guy's greed. That is greed. There's more money on the table. Why isn't he taking it? Why isn't Mayweather Promotions taking it? What?
He was offered $4 million to go to the zone for I forget who he was offered, and it was turned down. And he only got $1 million. It was $1 million guaranteed. Yes, and it was $4 to $6 million, and he didn't take it.
That would have been an easy knockout for him.
And so then instead he's making $1 million. That's the only money he's got guaranteed. He got $1 million for the last fight. So that's not even. I mean, he's bouncing checks to jewelers. So he's obviously not rolling in money. And I know they live on a stimpant with those guys too, but still.
Hey, Jimmy,
he's
can I ask
obviously
you
not
something?
happy. Yes, brother.
Can I ask? Well, first of all, real quick, because before I don't get a chance to miss this, Medardo Garcia, shout out to Medardo for his contribution with the super chat. And he says, it's too late for Davis. He shouldn't get involved with Mayweather. His career has been stunted. Oh, shout out to Medardo for his contribution. And I tend to agree. 27 years old, and his best opponent is still, at this point, Jose Pedraza, about 6 years ago. So shout out to Medardo for that. I wanted to
dream. And at that, a dream.
Guys,
let him finish.
No, let him go. Go ahead, let him go. Go ahead. Well, go ahead. Don't stop now. Fuck. What the fuck? Okay,
I was saying at that, a drain Jose Pedraza. Now you can go, Malik. That's all I was going to say.
No, I just want to say, if you watch Tank Davis' interview with Nelk Boys, it all makes sense why he's been fighting this kind of opposition.
I didn't see it. Can you educate me?
He doesn't care about it.
So he doesn't care about legacy.
All he
cares
cares about
paid.
is money. Yeah.
Yeah. See, so
Well, then why did he turn down $4 million? Sorry, Chief.
It's okay. I made a point on this earlier, is either on Instagram or on the BDA talking page about Mayweather said that you can't eat legacy, and you're right. But when he already had a legacy, and so he's saying that Tank doesn't have one yet. And later on down the history books, they're not going to look at Tank's bank account and said, "Oh, but he made a lot of money, so we're going to let him in the Hall of Fame." He may get in the Hall of Fame anyway because it's based on boxing writers, and if they kiss up to the right guys, he may get the vote. But based off of criteria and resume, he doesn't have it. And if he's thinking about that now at 27 years old, like we're saying, he's probably thinking about legacy now because Mayweather had one and then made money. Tank is supposedly making money and doesn't have one. And at the end of the day, like I said, one more time, I'm going to reiterate this one more time. At the end of the day, they're not going to look at his bank account and say that's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
But Chief Malik, if you look at it, right, the big money fights, because like Malik said, Gervonta's about the money or whatever, right? The big money fights are the legacy fights, like Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia. Those are big money fights, right? $1 million, is that like, and he's about money? How is that? That's really not that much when you get to the big stage, like, you know, the Canelos and Anthony Joshua's getting paid. So if he really was about the money, he would fight Lomachenko or, you know, Ryan Garcia or any of the top dogs at 135, because that's where the money is.
Agreed.
Nobody wants to see, you know, him fight, you know, another bum. For how many fights is this going to go on for? Like, come on.
You're preaching to the choir here. If I may just respond to that real quick.
The casual fans buy it.
Yeah, you're right. Well, according to the numbers that they put out there, as per Mike Carpenter, who's an unreliable source. So we don't know exactly if fans are buying it per se.
But those are not even big pay-per-view numbers.
You're right, they're not.
100,000.
It wouldn't make a difference.
That's not even big pay-per-view numbers.
Hey, Malik, you gotta stop talking over people, man. Yeah, please, Malik, you gotta stop talking over people, man. You interject. You'll get your turn. Don't worry, everyone. We'll have some order.
When MMA's done, I want to hear what Malik has to say.
Yeah,
I'm done.
All right, Malik, go ahead, man.
You really think Gervonta versus any of the lightweight is a big fight?
Yes,
of course. They'll do good
people. The fans been wanted Loma versus Tank for years now. What are you talking about?
Of course, bro.
They may want it. Is it going to sell?
Yes, I believe it will.
Okay, boxing's dead. It's not going to sell.
So here's the thing: Johnny Tapia and Danny Romero. Johnny Tapia and Danny Romero. Big fight for them. Made them both a lot of money. Could not sell at pay-per-view. Are these fights going to make pay-per-view numbers? And since and I've said this multiple times on this platform, TVs are not subsidizing fights that much anymore, if at all. So therefore, the only money to be made is either off of ticket sales and or pay-per-view sales, because that's the only way they can make money off of showing these fights. Is it going to sell enough? Is it going to sell up to like 400,000 or 500,000 pay-per-views? Because
you got to appeal to the casual fans. Tank versus Ryan, that would sell. But
Tank isn't really with it.
The thing is, it's a weird market right now for pay-per-views.
Tank versus Ryan will sell because Ryan is a YouTube star too. He's not just a boxer.
The casuals will buy that.
Yeah.
Will they buy it? Will they buy it? Here's the question.
They'll buy the Loma fight too, though. You know, because that's a big fight too. For years, fans won that.
Europeans that don't buy shit.
For years, fans won that, bro. You know, the Loma fight.
Fans may want it, but and we all know Loma's a great fighter. But the thing is, has anyone really bought into Loma yet? Has he been put on major pay-per-view with numbers over 400,000?
Okay, so let me ask the panel guys say that, right?
Okay.
I'm asking this to all the people on the panel. Will you buy Loma versus Tank if it's on pay-per-view?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
It would sell more than any other pay-per-view you could possibly do.
If these fights all would make money, don't you think promoters will be chomping at the bit to make them happen?
Good question.
Yo, can I get in on this? My bad.
Yeah, but why would they when Floyd Mayweather has straight up said, why should I make anybody else money? We're keeping everything in-house. Their plan is obvious. It's transparent. It's so obvious. They're trying to build up enough hatred for the kid because they don't care about his legacy. They just want his name recognition. And they're trying to get out there. So when they finally do, if he does, Go out and does a big pay-per-view, and he loses. Oh well, they cash in on his name. The problem with when you're with Floyd, you're the only fighter he has. He's trying to make money because if he fights somebody in-house, he makes 15% off both purses. But if he's actually a superstar, like Smellerby says, then why are they paying his opponents $300,000? What superstars, like when you fight Canelo, you make $10 million. You're walking down the street. I'm going to fight you. You instantly become life-changing money when you fight him. You fight Tank Davis, you might be able to fucking rent the Lamborghini for the summer.
To piggyback off of that real quick, and on another level, back in the 90s, when De La Hoya would fight on regular HBO, not pay-per-view, Obakar and Daryl Coley, they each made $2.2 million apiece. And that was non-pay-per-view. Of course, De La Hoya made way more than that, probably $5 to $7 million. So that is a star. That is a star. Tank's not like that. And to be honest with you, go ahead.
Well, also, you think about this. If Tank was truly a superstar, they wouldn't have to send him to... and again, the bullshit is so great. Oh, well, we're trying to make him, we're trying to open him up to the country. Well, this is strategic, fucking Atlanta, because a big black community. Los Angeles, big black community. No, they're trying to get his name up enough so somebody in Vegas actually offers them site money. Nobody's saying, no Vegas casino saying, we'll give you fucking $15 million to hold that bitch here. No problem. That's where a fighter makes their money.
Tank when they actually did really good when he was in Atlanta, because it's like...
But he didn't sell out.
They say...
But he didn't sell out.
Like, it didn't?
No.
By 6,000 and 7,000.
You know what? A certain section of the stadium because they were embarrassed it didn't sell out.
They blocked off the top.
I look at it like this. Tank is being promoted like Floyd was at the later stages of his career. They're trying to protect that O because as long as he got that O, there's a market. They think there's a market for Tank. So they're not gonna have him being at risk to lose a fight. And until they don't care about that O anymore, this is what you're gonna get from Tank. Every time a type of fight Tank's gonna have.
But listen,
I agree with that, bro. Because
I doesn't matter.
Wait,
let competition.
Hold on, let's let somebody else speak. 150, go ahead, man.
150.
No, I was just gonna say I feel like the Mayweather effect is the reason why Tank act the way he does. Like they asked him if he wanted to fight Kambosos. He said he'll fight Kambosos for free, but he means without the belts. Obviously, he's gonna get paid, but he said he doesn't really care about the belts. He said he doesn't give a fuck about them shits. So I feel like he don't care about legacy,
Very interesting.
Hey,
that's a good way of saying they don't let me.
Yeah, that's what that was.
I didn't know there's.
Go ahead, Irish. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, BD. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, I didn't know there's so many Lupe fiascos here. That's determining whether he is or is not a superstar. But jokes aside, honestly, the main issue is the PBC. Like they've squandered their money. Like let's be honest, if they weren't a boxing promoter, the sport would be in a better place. Like there's just to try to picture that, right? Like they just spent all this money on pointless marketing, these huge hype fights around 2014 that nobody cared about. Thurman Garcia, Thurman Guerrero, all this shit. Like they overpaid these guys way more money, but they had not the backing the zone had, and they're just like hemorrhaging money now, and so they're just milking every last fighter they can until they make an exit. Like they just weren't promotional.
He's nearly dead, man. He's 90 years old. He don't give a shit.
Well,
I don't think he is. He's like 60 something.
61 or 61 years old. But Al Heyman in the beginning spent. They paid Hans Zimmer $500,000 to write the score for the PBC that they don't even use anymore. So they blew through $750 million of investor money.
That's
not
insane.
Their money, of Watson and Reed money.
Man. They could have
suing them. They spent. Put it this way: if they were in the NFL, they would hold the record. They tanked an equivalent of an NFL team starting up and then going under in 2 years. $750 million in 2015. He went through in court records. I'm sorry, BD. I'll finish up with this. In court records, Heyman's attorney in Kansas City said what happened is their running budget, they set aside so much budget, for the budget. Their working capital was gone within 18 months. A 5-year plan and it was gone in 18 months. So, yeah, they're being sued. I don't know what happened there. I know he settled with Arum. People don't talk about that. They always say, "Oh, it got thrown out." No, it didn't. Heyman paid him a large amount of money. No, but it was sealed. The judgment was sealed, but it was a large amount of money.
That's interesting. Now, see, can I say something about that? Is that, first of all, shout out to Rafael. He got us a first contribution with the super chat. Really appreciate Rafael. He didn't leave a comment, but shout out to him. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, and subscribe. Now, in regards to what you said, Jimmy, look, every time Jimmy's here, he breaks it down. The PBC's in trouble. It's a miracle that year after year they still stay afloat, though. But again, we see their schedule. Every beginning of the year, they release a schedule. Everybody loses their shit. But then for a period of 3 months afterwards, in around August, September to, let's say, early November, they have nothing until they restructure. So we know that PBC is in trouble. And we know that even Mayweather and Al Heyman were getting into a little bit of a hissy fit not that long ago. So it would behoove Tank Davis, for not only his pockets, but his legacy as well, to ditch that sinking ship and go somewhere where they would actually perhaps match him with somebody. And that's the ultimate tragedy, however, of this lightweight division, that Loma's not a big star. Neither is Devin Haney. And he probably never will be because he's just not exciting. Tank Davis has the potential, but he's being stunted. The only guy who has real mainstream potential is Ryan Garcia, and that's also his problem at the same time because he's got outside the ring money that he could make. So he's not even taking this fucking boxing thing seriously. And may I also add, it's still the year of the upset so far. 2021 is bleeding into 2022. And with this Ryan Garcia hasn't fought in over a year, he's going to be fighting at a higher weight next. You never know. He could be the next in line for the upset curse. But moving on, because we've talked enough about this Tank Davis fellas for a while. Romero, Charlo, and Errol Spence, they're talking just a little bit, about how they might fight each other if the money is right. I think Mike Tyson had something to do with that, putting that idea in their heads. Fellas, what do you think about that potential matchup? Do you think Jermel could actually beat Errol Spence? Can Errol Spence even make it past Ugas, first of all?
He should, is the key word. Wear and tear on the body. How long was his amateur career? I thought it was over 100 fights. And then you got the Olympic level. He was pushed to the top rather quickly because he was in his early 20s when he turned pro. He was a teenager. So they got him ranked in less than 20 fights. He got a belt in right around 20 fights. But now we're heading towards 30 fights, and he's starting to get injured a lot. Now, the car wreck may be a lot to it, but he's still getting injured a lot. And when athletes start getting injured as they're in their 30s, their career usually doesn't have too much longer. The world, it's been proven over and over. Mayweather had joint problems in his hand, but he didn't have the kind of constant issues that Spence has been having with the eye and other such issues. So, how much longer does he have? Is this Ugas fight going to backfire like 3 years down the road when all the wear and tear is catching up to him? Is a valid question. He should beat Ugas because Ugas swings wide, and Spence is a lefty, and he likes to throw straight punches when he's not working the body. But other than that, if he moves up to 154,
chill with them nipples, man.
Anyway, a quick synopsis to wrap up, so somebody else can talk. If he moves up to 154, first of all, who's going to train them? Because they're under the same trainer, they're under the same manager. There's some conflicts of interest. They're going to have to be ironed out. It's not just going to be if the money's right. They have to work certain things out. And they're out of the same gym, if I'm correct. So there's certain parts that are going to have to be ironed out regardless of money. And I don't even think they've even discussed that yet. At least they haven't in public. Mm-hmm. So can that fight happen? Maybe. But you still have to iron out the smaller details like trainer, corner, manager. I mean, the manager, it's not really a conflict of interest as far as I know for a manager to manage both fighters because he gets paid either way. But his job is to make the most money for the fighter. So how's he going to, which fighter is he going to pick if he's representing both of them? You know what I mean?
With them, I mean, PBC never fights two stars together, right? So I don't think it'll ever happen because one star, have you noticed it's like they have a star in each division and then they fucking throw a pay-per-view for the guy and then they just keep making pay-per-views based on one star, but they never fight them together. I mean, it's rare.
I would just like to say, Boxing Chief, you made some great points, man. There's a lot more to it than just money. You know, there's definitely the corner and the trainer, etc. I'm just happy that this conversation came about PBC probably won't make this fight. They probably won't, but I'm actually happy that Earl Spence brought it up because there should be no friends in boxing, man. There's so many fights that could be made if these guys wasn't friends. And just like Mike Tyson said, if you guys are really friends, then let's break bread. Let's make a big fight. Let's make money off each other. So I agree with Earl Spence, man. No friends in boxing, bro.
Well, can I say something about that? Can I say something about? Well, first of all, shout out to Copper Color King for his contribution to the super chat. He says, Garza don't know shit about boxing. Oh, wait a minute. I think he's talking about Rafael. Please don't tell me you're talking about Rafael that way. That's insane. But shout out to Copper King for his contribution. And in regards to the friendship thing, some of you will know this. Like 150 Dream Team said, there's no such thing as friends when the money's right. These guys are prize fighters. They fight if the price is right. And we've seen fighters before, that were friendly outside the ring, and they try to rip each other's heads off. Chris Bird versus Jamil McCline, their wives used to go out and spend their money shopping, and they were friends. And so those guys tried to, Simon Brown versus Maurice Blocker, those guys tried to rip each other's heads. No, you weren't. Stop.
You know I was. Like you know good and damn well I was.
You're capping, like they say in the streets. But yeah, so this whole thing yeah.
No, I was going to piggyback on your point. Arturo Gotti, when people asked him, and they said, well, how could be that close with Mickey? Like after the first fight, they became really close friends, and even after the second fight, even closer, like up right outside the ring. And people are like, man, it's so weird. We can't wrap my head around. You guys are so close. Call each other like brothers now. But then you go in the ring and try to. And Toro said, because you people look at it like as this is a fight. Like the civilians, do you think throwing hands instantly means because you hate the person you want to beat him up? He goes, this is a sport to him and I. We're two sportsmen. We're trying to fucking learn what we learned as a sport. It'd be no different if two friends played against each other in hockey or basketball or pickup to them. You know what I mean? I'm just saying the fighter's mindset. So the friendship, yes, you just want to pray to God that nobody walks away at the end of it and you're all right. But that's bullshit if that's the excuse. Anyway, sorry, BDA.
No, that's okay. No, you're absolutely right, man. It's a business for these guys. It's nothing personal, or it can become personal. I mean, did you guys see what happened there with the Masvidal versus Colby? That MMA, UFC, whatever you want. They got some crazy characters in there, more than in boxing. I mean, this guy apparently Masvidal, he got beat up by Covington. Then he decides, you know what? I'm not done yet. I'm gonna chase him down to a Waffle House and try to sucker punch him. I mean, is that fake or is that real? Was that fake or was it real?
Well, yeah, I think it's. I mean, he just got arrested a couple of days ago, a bunch of felonies. So the kid's kind of a lunatic, but a lot of that's copying the. They all saw how. Remember, it was McGregor's mouth, along with his straight left hand, but he would fucking rip dudes up in the press conferences, and they're all trying to capture that. They're all trying to get that fucking Conor McGregor money. It's not going to happen. It's got to be organic. If you try to fucking stage that shit, it becomes obvious.
Yeah. Can I say something? Can I ask you guys something about that? Because some people are saying, other fighters are saying, yeah, man, because Covington deserves it because he talked about Masvidal's family. First of all, he didn't insult Masvidal's family. He brought it up. But in the other event, I don't enjoy this new thing where, well, he talked about his family, therefore he's got the right to beat him up. Yeah, okay, go ahead and beat him up if you want to, but you're going to end up in jail or with some sort of legal trouble. So what do you guys think? I mean, is talking about somebody's family or just even bringing them up, is that license to throw down in the streets or what do you guys think?
Not in the streets, no.
Pressing charges on him, man. He's a bitch.
Oh. All right. So Malik says he's a bitch he's a bitch and a snitch. Go ahead, Irish. Yeah.
No, it's not a smart move, obviously. The murder clearance rates in the United States are around 50%. Your best bet is just do a drive-by. If you really, feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, can you hear me? If you're gonna be serious, you got one. You got flip. You got to flip of a coin. Yeah, but in Miami it's lower. In Baltimore, it's like 25% or something. You're more likely to get away with murder.
75% of homicides go unchecked.
So just remember, kids. If you're trying to murder someone, there's a place.
La la la
la la la la la la la la. The fuck?
Remember, kids.
Hey, he's dropping some gems. It doesn't mean necessarily that they're good gems, but it's knowledge out there for the people. You guys remember Yusuf Mack, super middleweight and light heavyweight contender, and he was in a homo porno for about $4,000, I think. And then he said that no, when it came out, he said, "Oh, I was drugged," and porn companies, legit porn companies, they frown upon that. They say, "Whoa, you better retract that, or else we'll sue your ass." And so he had to admit that he had indeed been a gay porno. Fast forward to a couple of years later, some guy was trolling him nonstop on social media for being a homo. And Yusuf Mack tracked the guy down to a barbershop and really beat the shit out of him. And he ended up getting in trouble. So, I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, it's okay, you beat him up, but now you've got a criminal record. What do you guys think? Is there ever such a thing as acceptable beatdowns? Or
criminal record doesn't matter, man. Look what he's doing. Fucking gay porno boxer. How long is it?
I mean, you know what I mean? Depends, especially in a pro fighter, man, because you could fucking just hit the dude one time. The kid hit his head on the ground, you could kill him. You end up getting a fucking murder beef over some fucking shit that really shut your phone off, dude. You won't even know he's saying it about you. Get on with your life. You know what I mean? Or do you want to go live in a fucking box for the next 30 years? Getting treated like an animal.
Jimmy, I spent some of the best years of my life living in a box. It's not for everybody, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. But I get your point, Jimmy. I get your point. And it's what does everyone else think about that? Is there any time where it's acceptable to track somebody down and kick the crap out of them?
No.
Nah, you're just not right in the head, man.
I think it's right. If it's a certain scenario, like what Cain Velasquez did to his, you know.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
And listen,
free Cain.
I'm not opposed to fucking you run into the dude, say you're at the same place, you're in the lobby, and you fucking, you know, you maneuver yourself to the position, end up in a fucking elevator with him, you know, or one, hopefully there would be a fucking casino would have cameras, but someplace off camera and giving him a fucking 2-piece. But just, you know, enough not to fucking kill a kid, but let him know. Get more or less just to fucking get him on his back and look at you in the face and having him apologize, making sounds like a little girl. You know, have him live with that for the rest of his life. But just to go out and beat on him in the public and make a fucking, you know, where it's obvious and you're going to catch a rap, fuck that.
What
You're going to be smart about shit.
Being a batty man. You're going to get abused for being a batty boy.
Hey, but and plus, on top of that, it was premeditated. I think Masvidal was online hours before the attack saying, "I know where you are. I'm tracking you down. It's going down." So that's even
my whole thoughts on this is, listen, right? When you talk about somebody in their family, right, and they see you in real life, they see you, you know, in person, you think they're not going to do nothing about it? Think they're just going to shake your hand and go about their way? No, this is not the internet, right?
That's true.
So if they see you, they're going to, you know, probably do something. And Masvidal, this is not his first felony. No, well, I don't even think this is a felony, is it? But he's been arrested for felonies worse.
Yes, they are felonies.
So
all three of them are felony. All charges of felonies.
Yeah, but I don't think Masvidal really cares about going to county jail for punching up a guy who's talking about his family. So
did you know what happened about his family? What happened with his family? Though, I seen the video randomly. What happened was Masvidal was talking about how Colby was talking about how Masvidal cheated on his wife and his kids, and he slept on her couch. Listen, I don't care about that. Ayo, Masvidal a G for cheating. I mean, I think cheating's good.
What did Kobe expect, though? What did he expect? Did he expect?
And that's what I'm saying, bro. Hey, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you talk shit. It is what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just because you fighters and you fought in the ring don't mean a guy will pull up on you because you said some shit.
Did he expect it is what it is. They expect Masvidal to say, "Let's go to the bar and get some drinks." Like, no,
I don't expect that, but I expect someone to act like a grown man. And you're talking about people as if they're acting like kindergartners that got their fucking feelings.
Yeah, bro. But not everybody acts like
these guys.
And you know what? That's a problem with everybody in society, and that's a problem with you if you okay it. That's a problem with someone thinking that.
Listen.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
Okay, I understand that you're probably not for that or whatever, but listen. If you talk about somebody's family and they see you in real life, bro, then it is what it is, bro.
And that's I'm talking.
And also, right?
MMA, shut the hell up. MMA, shut the hell up.
All right, one at a time.
Boxing Chief. Shut up.
All right, hold on.
Don't tell me what to do, Boxing Chief. Because I could
then be quiet so somebody else can talk for a change. Be quiet.
Hey, relax, y'all.
Be quiet.
All right, MMA champ. Let the vet talk. Let the vet talk. Show some respect to the vet. Let Chief talk. Go ahead, Chief.
My point is that if you're gonna, words. Never mind. You know what, media? You're right. These aren't for me. You guys have a good night.
No, you're supposed to listen. You should just talk. Listen, I got some advice for everybody here. This is supposed to be controlled chaos, but chaos nevertheless. So you gotta talk over somebody. If you get the floor and somebody's talking over you, you gotta just barge through, man. I can't help everybody out here all the time, man.
This is not kindergarten, bro. Man up.
Jesus.
You're right. You're backing my point
Chief.
now. You're backing my point now. I can get mad and say words. Are you going to threaten me now? No, you're not. And I'm not. I'm not going to that level. I'm making a sarcastic point. I know you're not going to threaten me. But my point is, we're talking about people that are going to threaten, or are going to resort to such things. You and I are exchanging words, right? My temper got out of control. Guess what? There's no hard feelings because I'm a freaking adult, and so are you.
I don't think MMA champs. I don't think MMA champs.
I'm not done. When you're saying, well, if you talk about someone's family, what do you expect? I expect someone to act like a grown man. If I threw a temper tantrum, so be it. I've got to live with that. But I'm a grown man. I'm not going to throw hands unless I have to defend myself because my life is threatened. Going after someone because they said something about your family. What did they say? Even then, it's words. It's words. You have to be
do you think the same thing would happen? Everybody's like that, bro.
All right, hold on. Let's somebody.
Can I ask you a question though?
Go ahead.
Say somebody says something about your children, your wife, something about that, right? And
you didn't say shit about his children.
Wait, but Aldo, please.
That's a straight lie, though.
Wait, Aldo,
let him finish.
Right? And they say that about your family, right? Mm-hmm. And you see them in person. Are you not going to do anything about it?
Why would I need to? They've just shown the fact that they're that level of an idiot child, that their parents had no class and they don't either.
Well, can I say something here? Can I interject? Can I interject here? I have to read
Let Mr. BDA talk.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. I have to interject and then I'll let you guys continue. Shout out to Rafael Garza. Well, hold on. Copper Color King. Shout out to Copper Color King for his contribution. He says, Garza, if Haney doesn't fight Kambosos for Undisputed, I will donate 100 buckaroos to the channel. And if they fight, you donate 100 buckaroos. Then Rafael Garza with a super chat. He says, June the 5th, 2022 is the deadline. Kambosos versus Haney. I am in. I accept. Oh, so we got 3 super chats. Listen, fellas, I appreciate the bet, but you guys should donate the money to yourself, so to your favorite charity. You don't need to wire it to us. What I do appreciate is when you hit the like, subscribe, spread the BDA gospel. I had a vision the other day. I had a fever and I had a vision that the Crimson Inquisition will happen. The Crimson Inquisition will come down if you guys don't spread the BDA gospel, all right? So go ahead and do that. All right, so fellas, continue on. Is getting into a street fight because somebody assaulted your family okay, yes or no? Keep going.
Well, can I just add something?
It's a sequence of events. It's a sequence of events. He got his ass beat in the octagon, and now he's talking shit about his family.
And I was about to say that too, because what happened was, listen, man, and what Chief is saying is facts, though. I agree with Chief, but you can't expect everybody to act like a grown man. Plus, put yourself in Masvidal's shoes, dude. This dude, Colby, talked about his family and got his fucking ass kicked in the ring.
He didn't talk about his family. He didn't talk about his family.
He did, bro.
No, he didn't. He called Masvidal a bum-ass father. That's all he said. He never said anything about his children.
No. But what he said pissed off Masvidal.
Yeah, about him, not his children. That's a completely different. That's like saying you're a piece of shit and saying you're talking about my mom.
That's him taking out of context.
One at a time.
Let me go, because Masvidal. Colby said Masvidal turned on his kids. He cheated on his kids and his wife. He said that. I'll link the video right now in the chat. He said, he cheated on his kids and his wife. He said that.
Yeah, we're talking about him.
That's not talking about kids, though.
Exactly.
Talking about the kids is like they're ugly motherfuckers.
Why do you bring up?
No, you don't get the
point.
He
says
he didn't talk shit about them. Those are two different things.
I'm not on Masvidal's side, bro. I don't care what Masvidal. All I'm saying is what Colby said, and that might have pissed off Masvidal, and I guess it did piss him off. And
what pissed him off?
The guy in the streets, he's not going to be a cuck. He's going to punch him, bro.
Can I interject?
Masvidal
he said the same thing about Ben Askren. Why didn't he pull up on him? Oh, because he won the fight. That's why.
Because
but also,
Kobe
right?
Masvidal won the fight. He would have never
Colby
attacked him.
whooped his ass.
But Aldo,
He got
Exactly.
are you
salty,
gonna
and they said,
that,
"Oh, I'm
bro.
gonna sucker punch."
All right,
you.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Time.
One at a time. MMA champ,
Look,
go.
this will happen.
Hold on.
You should-
MMA champ.
okay.
All right,
MMA
go.
champ has
You
a
should
question
put
that's
that
gonna
same
clear.
energy,
MMA
right?
champ
With
has a
that
question.
same
MMA
energy.
champ. Hey. MMA champ has a question that's gonna clear things up. Apparently, go ahead, MMA champ.
Okay. First of all, when your question, BDA, I was gonna answer it. So I think, like, before, you take it to violence, no matter what they said, I think you should at least approach them and, ask them to apologize first. And if they don't want to be man enough about that, then you take it to, wherever it goes, but also, Anderson Aldo, are you going to condone Kobe Covington for giving the police a statement and basically snitching, right? He could have.
He didn't have to
fought back,
snitch.
but he chose not to.
Masvidal literally admitted on Twitter. He's a dumbass. He fucking said, "Oh, how's your teeth?" And now he's saying he's not guilty.
He wouldn't have been
He's a big
charged.
stupid idiot.
He wouldn't have been charged if Kobe didn't.
And Kobe didn't even call the cops. It was
Okay,
one of
hold
these
on.
fucking,
Hold
like,
on.
Sorry,
if I
I
can
was
go
just
real
going to say
quick,
the whole.
Jimmy,
All right. Let me just say this real quick. The whole snitch thing, dude. I know this for a fact. That whole snitch thing is a joke. The minute they get behind closed doors, they all talk. Very seldom do people not talk. And I'm talking to kids in the streets because I saw it in fucking prison, dude. I saw it in the prison. Kids would come in and they would rat on each other left and right and left and right. So that whole snitch thing, and that's a cultural thing. In communities like where I live, that's not a real thing. And the reason why people will fight at that age, when I was 21 years old, yeah, I would have fucking put his teeth down his throat because I had nothing to lose. But when you get older and you own a home, when you own a home and you have property, bank accounts, and you own shit that if you go to prison you could lose. It's all what you're willing to lose. I'm done.
Jimmy, I'm not saying
okay, hold on.
there's nothing wrong with
I want to make my point real quick. All right, so there are three things I want to address. One is the sort of premeditated assault. That's obviously stupid. I made a kind of joking point about murdering someone, but I was only half joking because what I'm really trying to say is if you are going to sit there and think about assaulting someone, you might as well actually go through with that, and just murder him, right? And unless you're willing to live with that, because you're actually less likely to get caught, showing your face. You can, take all sorts of precautions, if you will. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm just saying that that's the same kind of level of degeneracy we're talking about. Two, I would like to point out the irony. No. I have 3 points. Okay, whatever. I have the irony of defending your honor in regards to not being a good father and assaulting someone, which is going to land you in jail and definitely make you less capable of raising your kids, is just too hard to ignore, right? That's obviously stupid. It's hypocritical, right? There's no point in doing that. And just Jimmy, what you said about the stitching thing, it's true. It varies upon communities. I don't know what milieu or culture you're from, but I know in the LA County prison system, it's very different because there's kind of a rotating door. There's an honor code there. Those guys will not tell on each other because they're going to end up in prison anyway. And then they're going to be around all the same people who are going to know you're a fucking snitch, and they're going to murk you in jail. So, there are other...
Can I jump in here because now we gotta go. Okay, first of all, shout out to Leonardo Campos Vasquez for his contribution with the super chat. He says, "If you talk about my family, that's okay, but talk about BDA, then it's listo para los chingazos." Órale, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, man. See, people got my back. That's why I don't have to fight. I do everything via proxies. If I need something taken care of, I got
send
my
your minions out.
I got my shooters to take care of it, like they say in the urban world.
Now, got your soldiers.
That's right. Now listen, we gotta move on from this whole Masvidal thing because I
just
think
one
people
more
want
thing though.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So Jimmy, with the whole I'm not saying there's anything wrong with cooperating with the police, right? But at the end of the day, right, you said something about, him, his wife, and his children, right? So, and you know that if he sees you, he's probably gonna,
Oh yeah, dude. Listen, I'm not condoning what he did. I'm not condoning what that dude. I don't even Colby or whatever his name is. He did. I'm not even talking about that situation. I'm just talking in general. And when I say snitching in jail, I'm not putting your name on paper where the paper follows you. I'm talking, they come up to COs all the time, Harden, fucking fucking floor bosses, and they'll snitch on each other as in favors, to do favors, to get competition out of the way. I'm just saying, snitching is used. Yeah, a lot of times they got to put it on paper. They don't want that to hang with them because they, you know what I mean? That'll get you, like you said, stabbed up in jail without a doubt. But they snitch.
All right. Now, can I say something about that? I mean, look, at the end of the day, you do have to be. Look, we live in a world where we got lost. We live by our loss and we die by our loss. But you have to remember, there's people out there that are willing to overlook those laws. Masvidal is from a world where you look him the wrong way, he's prepared to knock you out and suffer the consequences. Now, at the same time, like I said way beforehand, technically, Covington never talked about. Well, he talked about his family, but if I ask Jimmy, hey, how's your family doing? I'm talking about his family, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I'm asking about his family. So I think Aldo also has a point about how what's his name? The real reason why Masvidal is so pissed off, it's not because he talked, but because he talked and beat him. So that's probably why he's still salty. And may I also say, as the last point here, let's not forget what I forget which part it was, but the Old Testament talked about an eye for an eye, and the eye shall not pity. So there is a little bit of bloodshed involved in the Old Testament. So yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
And what he said is actually bad, because what it did was when he said you cheated on your wife and kids, he wasn't talking bad about the wife and kids. He was actually saying you betrayed your wife and children and what you did. And if he's Catholic, he's going to feel that way. He's going to have guilt no matter who you are. When you cheat on your wife, and if you have kids, I don't give a fuck who you are unless you're a sociopath. You're going to feel guilt. So when he said that, you bailed on your wife and kids, probably touched a nerve. That's worse than him saying your kids look half retarded. So he took the point of being moralistic, and he like judged him. That's what set him off. You know what I'm saying? And listen, everybody kind of respects somebody who goes and fucking, steps up. Somebody talks about your family, you give them a crack. You're going to deal with the consequences. But yeah, there's something admirable about that. You know what I mean? The old duel days. But I think what set him off is because he was right. And I think he touched a nerve.
Yeah, I think it just added more fuel to the fire.
It was
because
both,
we're
bro.
talking about Masvidal, a guy who has multiple felonies and multiple arrests anyway. So I don't
Has
think
he ever
really
been accused of
cares
rape,
about
by the
one.
way? Or there's no rape charge, right? On his
No, I don't think
so.
Okay.
But
Okay,
that's the
just one-
danger right there, though. The fact he's already been, I don't know if his conviction rate is, but you only get so many of those before they say, okay, habitual, 7 to 10.
Oh,
Woof, and I'd rather be dead.
But look, how
Yo.
about this? Everybody put yourself in Masvidal's shoes. This guy talked about you and your family, and he kicked your ass in the ring. You gotta be like, yo, I'm not gonna be a fucking cuck. If I see him in real life, I'm gonna fucking pop him, bro. That's how it is,
That's
bro. Like, that's
exactly
how
how
it
it
is.
is.
You can't be a cuck. You can't be a cuck, bro. It is what it is.
But sucker
If you're gonna
punching
be
is a
laid with an
cuck
asshole,
move.
it is what it is, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's what happens
Sucker
when
punching someone and not being able to knock him out, that's a cuck move.
Oh.
I'm just saying, bro. You can't be a cuck.
If you don't,
Yeah, did he sucker punch him?
Wait a minute. The definition of a cock. The definition of a
Okay,
cock.
so-
The definition of a cock is somebody that fucks your wife and you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that have
No,
to do
but I'm
with
Yeah,
fucking-
exactly.
Listen, bro. Listen. I guess we live in this. You, me, and you're the guys. We're different people. It is what it is. But that's just how I take care of it. Like that's just how I am, bro. You know
That's
what I'm
cool.
saying?
That's because you're an alpha male,
Sucker
though.
punch
That's because
people
you're.
outside of steakhouses.
But still, though,
Hey,
like,
hold
if
on.
somebody
Let's put this theory to the test. 956. You're a bitch. Your family, you don't take care of your family. So now if we see each other, you're gonna have to throw down. The gauntlet has been thrown, man. It's the ball's
I'll
in your
kiss
court.
you, BDA. I'll kiss you on the forehead.
Now, what
All
Mr.
right.
BJ, was it a sucker punch? Was it a sucker punch? Did he sucker
Yeah,
punch him?
Bull
it
ran
was,
up.
yeah.
Bull ran up from behind, ran
And
into
not
the
only
shot
that, he-
twice.
not-
2 sucker punches.
Not only
Yeah,
that, he was-
that's low rent. That's low rent. That's some
not only
cowardly
that,
shit right there.
He was disguised too. He
was in
had
a
hat
hoodie and
on
a
and
surgical mask, one of those,
Ah,
the COVID
fucking
masks. You see, if he
punk.
pulled up on him and like he was like, "Hey, let's fight," and then he starts swinging, that's one thing. But
Remember
sucker
when
punching someone, full charge up, that's a bitch.
Yeah,
move.
exactly. Dude, remember a few minutes ago when I said you can kind of respect what he did, because the dude talked shit, made him feel a certain kind of way? Let me retract that statement. Bitch. That's a punk move.
Whoa.
Punk
All right.
move.
Wait,
Listen,
okay,
like-
Jimmy. Come on. You're going too
Listen,
far with the
BDA,
question.
bro, you should give the guy opportunity to protect himself too. Like that's just straight. Yeah, that's.
But at the same time,
You
look,
do that
at the
because
same
that's fear driven. You do that when you're afraid.
Listen, at the same time, though, at the same time, you're poking at a guy who you know is a nut job who doesn't respect the law.
You only sucker punch somebody when you're afraid to fight them when they're really can. That's why you only sucker punch somebody, because you're afraid to actually fight them 1-on-1.
All right, well, listen, Rafael, shout out to Rafael Garza for his contribution with the super chat. He says Copper Collared has moved the goalpost to the end of June 2022. I accept Cambosos versus Haney. That is, do not move the goalpost again. All right, Rafael Garza throwing the gauntlet as well there. Everyone's getting into it. Everyone's getting into the spirit of the Masvidal Covington thing in the chat and here in the panel. Now, listen, we got to move on to something boxing related here. I wanted to bring up the whole thing about Usyk versus Joshua. Apparently, Usyk is back outside of the Ukraine. He says he will now train for a June fight against Djibouti. Could you please mute your mic, Mike? Because there's some background noise there coming from your end. But so June 5th, Usyk versus... What the fuck?
Jesus.
Well, okay, yeah. June the 5th.
Somebody else is breathing into their fucking microphone like they're
okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I muted. But the point is, it's happening in June. But is this a good move for Joshua to go right into a rematch?
Yes, but what I'm saying is, though, with the Usyk, fighting for Ukraine, it just showed that was a photo op, because he was in the militia or whatever, or the army, for like how many? Probably like a few weeks, and that was it. Like, come on, bro.
Photo op, dude. How do you know he? But we don't know what happened. He could have fucking maybe the area where he was in could have been shelled. We don't know. I'm just saying we don't know what he saw.
But if he really wanted to fight for his country, he would have stayed. So I mean,
these guys are pro-Russian. Usyk and Loma are pro-Russian.
Oh,
they want
so then why did they join the militia anyway? Why did they join to fight for their country?
They got pictures of the Ukrainian president in army clothes, like this guy's some soldier. He was a fucking comedian before he was the president. He's a clown. He's a puppet.
All right, well, let's not get into the fucking geopolitics here.
Yeah,
in terms of the rematch. Yeah, in terms of the rematch itself, Anthony Joshua seems like he's on the verge of a panic attack every time he loses more than 2 rounds straight. What do you guys think? I mean, is he in line for another loss here, or?
Yeah, 100%, man. I seen Joshua's new trainer. What's his name? Ali, whatever.
Bashir.
The dude, he trained Usyk for 3 years. I feel like that can help him in some way, but I feel like Usyk can just box a whole different style and throw AJ off, man. Because Usyk, he doesn't fight one way, man. He's a versatile fighter. He can give him different looks. I feel like that can happen. I got Usyk in the rematch, man.
I would like to
I've always had.
If AJ wins, I would like to see a rematch against him and American's wife.
Oh, well, hold on a second. He said that he didn't do that. He said in a recent tweet, he said, I might as well have done it with all the bad press I got off of that. So he claims he didn't give her the dick, as it were. Now, but going back to the fight, man, I mean, look, listen, I agree with 150 Dream Team. People keep saying after the fight, oh, Joshua made a mistake boxing him. I thought that was the right thing because Joshua can't fight coming forward. He's not that type of guy. Now, maybe he can learn, like, what's his name? Anthony Yardy did against the guy that beat him, the last guy, in the rematch. He went in there and he showed inside fighting. So, what's that?
Joshua's got to capitalize on when Usyk gets tired from the energy in the first 4 rounds.
Yeah,
he's 35 years old. He's not going to be able to keep pace for 12 solid rounds of what he did, just like in the first fight. He put the energy out there. He won those rounds, and then he had to take a step back and defend himself while getting a second win. If Joshua doesn't, I'm not saying necessarily go for broke, but if he doesn't capitalize on that moment to swing the fight back in his favor and then stay on top of that advantage, he won't win.
Yeah. He can't try to. He can't try to box him.
To shout lines in the camp.
Well, right. he can't try to box him as much as he tried last time. Last time he tried to conventionally box him. What he needs to do is punch at his chest, hit him in the arms, hit him in the hip. Anytime he's near him and he can put a glove on him, hit him. Just that's the only way. He can't try to sit there and do what he did last time, and he can't charge him because Usyk will fucking red cape him and send him head over tea kettle. So he can't do that.
I mean, he tried that in the first fight, though, in one of the rounds, and then he immediately started getting tagged. He was afraid to get knocked out.
Everyone
Listen, I
keeps saying
think
AJ should pressure him. I feel like if AJ does, he'll leave himself open, man. Usyk's not an idiot, man.
yeah, but I think that's the best opportunity for him to win. He tried the box, and we saw what happened with that. So I think he should try to go for it all.
You should
And
go for
if
broke.
Does
he wins,
anybody remember the cards? How close were they? Because if he
Let me
does a
check.
little bit better, if he wins like 3 or 4 rounds, he probably gets a robbery decision. Like, let's be real here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
think
I
it was
thought.
that close. I think it was like a 116, 112. I could be wrong, but I mean, I had like 117, 111. I think that's
Yeah, I
about the
had
right
like
score.
10 to 2.
He
That
won.
was like a crazy. I don't think.
How come
So they're
AJ
saying he
was
won 4
retracting his
rounds?
punches so much in the Usyk fight?
How come he was
What
what?
were the scorecards?
It was okay. The
punches weren't
scorecards. Hold
snapping.
on, real quick. Just one thing at a time. The scorecards were 113, 115 for 113, 115, 112, 116, and 112, 117, all for Usyk.
Yeah, so like 5 and 4 rounds. That's pretty fucking close, man. That's a bit of a stretch.
115, 113. What?
If he won 2 more rounds, it was a draw. If he won 2 more rounds legitimate, it was a draw. And that fight was nowhere close to being for AJ or a draw.
That
That's
wouldn't
bullshit.
have been a draw, anyway, bro.
I don't see.
No,
I
my
don't
point
see it.
is, if he nicked 2 rounds and that fight wasn't competitive, right? He would have got a draw.
That's
Yeah,
BS.
Aldo's right. I didn't know that someone scored 115, 113. That's kind of crazy. I think
All he needs to
116,
do is
112. That's very charitable.
Listen,
all he
Sorry,
needs
go
to
ahead.
do is keep it competitive. Like, people are
It's
saying,
because-
"Oh, he can't fight this way." If he does a little bit better in that same style, who says he can't
Who's
get the
breathing
decision?
like that?
Hey, could I interject in here?
Yes, please, Jibugi. Yeah, go ahead, Jibugi.
Yeah. Okay. Usyk is left-handed. Joshua, he has a good 1, 2, 3, like jab, cross, and uppercut. That's his favorite uppercut or a hook. Okay, that's his favorite punch. Okay, instead of throwing an uppercut or a hook, he should go attack like a 1-2 and then throw to the body as he's close enough to Usyk. The more he pressures him as a body attack, and then every now and then go up and down with his jab, throw him off to give the deception of him going to the jab to the face and jab him to the midsection, the sternum, the chest, doesn't matter. Jab him somewhere, anywhere in that position to set up his left hook to the body, or because Usyk, he's gonna have his whole right side exposed when he throws his right hand jab, and AJ could hit that liver shot there. See, so it all depends on how AJ comes in, focus mindset. Like, is he going to be timid? Is he going to be scared what's retaliating back to him? That's what we have to see from him. And is he capable of doing it?
I agree with your assessment. Yeah, what you just said, I agree with a lot of you said too. But he's got to do one important thing with Usyk. He can't let him get into a rhythm. He's got to see. This is where he's got to worry about his conditioning, and he just can't let him get in a rhythm. And also, I don't know how athletic he is. He seems pretty athletic. I'd even try to throw a wrinkle and see how we could do southpaw for a little bit. Just change it up now and then between the rounds to get Usyk off his game because he wouldn't expect it.
Plant his feet more. He was trying to dance around with Usyk. I don't know what the fuck he was doing in that fight.
Yeah, he was just trying
He's trying
to box him.
He's trying to play it safe because he knew that if he was at all competitive, they would have given him the decision. That's what he knew. We just saw in a fight that wasn't competitive, he got 115, 113, 7-5. That's bullshit.
Well, he did.
I don't know if he had a premeditated kind of mindset that he knew, they would give me a decision if it's competitive. I think, you look at the Pulev fight. Hold on. I think you look at the Pulev fight, and you see something very telling in Anthony Joshua that he's very back foot heavy. That's the Brandon Ingle style. They all train that way, or Dominic or whoever trains it. But it's a very common British approach, and it lends itself to a very kind of ponderous boxing style. And I agree with a lot of what Jay Boogie said, trying to set up the left hook to the body. he had some success with that. But the issue is that Usyk just occupies his lead hand too much from the southpaw stance to let him get that off, even when it's available. I just think Usyk is just going to have every adjustment for him if he's going to try any kind of boxing at distance. I think his only hope, I kind of like the idea of going southpaw, but I don't think Joshua's a good enough boxer to do that. Maybe for spurts just to kind of interrupt Usyk's rhythm. Yeah. But I think his only real chance is to have a high guard kind of counter-punching strategy where he's just putting on pressure and he's trying to maul Usyk to the body. But I just don't see Joshua ever having the conditioning to keep that up. I think he's not a cheaty guy. I don't think he's a cheaty guy. I think he just has these adrenaline dumps where he becomes very vulnerable, and that's why he gets hurt.
That's the biggest question about him, bro. That's the biggest question about him, man. Is just cardio, man. Will he be able to keep up that pressure? I feel like if he pressures Usyk, he has to knock him out. Because if he doesn't, Usyk's just going to stop him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the stop is very high in this fight. He almost got stopped the last time.
Well, can I say something about that? Can I say something about that? Yeah, can I say something about that? Because prior to the first fight, first of all, I mean, the amount of people that weren't giving Usyk a chance here was quite amazing. It seems like people think Joshua has this ability to improve his stamina. Look, he's been a professional now. It's going to be 2022. It's going to be 10 years he's been as a professional. His stamina is what it is. He can lose all the muscle mass he wants. But when he's fighting a guy like Usyk will tire almost everybody out that he faces out there with his nonstop movement, the feints, the punches from all angles. It's a nightmare to fight this guy. Now you can combine the fact that Joshua is a guy that gets tired because he is the bigger guy as well. Look, the stamina issue, it is what it is. That being said, if he, let's say, hypothetically, let's say he says, you know what, I'm going to work on my technique and I'm going to come forward and become a pressure fighter. Now he's going to have Usyk fighting. Now Usyk's going to fight the way he fought Chisora, which is off the back foot. Like 150 said, this guy's versatile. He can fight coming forward, stay at the mid-range, or fight going backwards. So Josh was up against it, man, in this rematch. It's anything he does or anything he changes, Usyk's going to change it right back to him.
Yep.
Fact,
like I said before on one of the shows.
I want to say shout out to toda la raza. Es fin de semana. You know what I mean? Get ready with your fucking What fue to my boy, my carnal? ¿Qué onda, bro? Shout out to BDA for keeping it raza, keeping it neta.
Absolutamente. A huevo. Hey, but let's just
a huevo, pa.
If you just let Chief finish because he wants to bring up a point and then we'll get back to it.
My bad. Shout out to Chief for keeping it raza too, bro.
Well, thank you. Anyway, I said it before. Joshua just showed the most cerebral fighter in the heavyweight division. Almost everything he knows how to do. Doesn't mean he can't change rhythms and stuff, but for the most part, he's shown him his whole hand. I know now how fast your jab is. I know how hard your right hand is. I know how well you fight inside. And I'm sorry, I don't see one fight in between with no tune-up fight, Joshua overly changing how well he knows how to fight on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
The fighting styles come from years of practice. Very few fighters are versatile enough to add to their game overnight. And Joshua's not one of them. So I don't see what he's going to do. I'm not saying he can't win. Like I said, he can win when Usyk goes to that time of getting a second win, capitalize on it.
Exactly.
But if he starts looking for these body shots and he starts reaching for them, because Usyk's not going to stay in range for those, that's going to drop his hands, is going to leave him open, and Usyk's going to counter those shots. If he goes in a high guard, Usyk's just going to start jabbing and throwing shoe shines to the body, and that's not going to help Joshua's stamina any, even if they're not hard shots. So it sounds like I'm saying he doesn't have a shot. He does, based off what I said. Capitalize at that moment, but you have to capitalize it for the rest of the fight until you possibly get a stoppage or some knockdowns. But aside from that, he's shown the best mind, everything he has. It doesn't look like he's ever really shown the ability to add to his game. He's 30 plus years old. It's not that he can't win, but the odds are not in his favor, in my opinion.
Can I mention something?
Gonzalo.
Hey, what's up, guys? I was gonna say you can't change a lot of things. BDA was mentioning it. You cannot hustle the guy that hustles everybody, because the guy that hustles everybody is the smaller guy. So all of a sudden, you can't expect the bigger guy that's going to throw far less punches because he's bigger to all of a sudden do better than the lighter guy. what he has to do is continue doing what he was doing prior to the Andy Ruiz fight. He's the bigger guy that's got power in both hands. Okay, stick to that way of fighting and try to blast away. We saw that Usyk is hittable. We saw that with the Chad, what's that guy's name? Witherspoon. We saw it with Usyk himself. He was finding Usyk. But don't try to go tit for tat in the speed department and try to out-hustle him. Just sit down on your feet and throw combinations that are going to blast away at your opponent and they're going to try to put a dent in him. Whether you get tired or not, you're probably going to get tired anyways because, like I said, the other guy's quicker. He's going to throw more punches. That's what he does to everybody. So try to put a dent into your opponent. You hit hard with both hands. The guy likes to turn. Try to set a trap where you catch him turning with either hook as he's turning into either direction. That's what I would do. Yeah, but you have to set a trap and you have to be sneaky about it. Exactly. You're not going to get too many. You're not going to get too many shots trying to do that.
Body, and like Chief said, look, here's how the rhythm of the fight went. Usyk started out quickly in that first fight. Then by the middle rounds, he was in that phase where he had to get a second win. That's where Joshua had his best moments. And then down the stretch, that's when Usyk, he got his get back again. So it's all about the rhythm. And going to the body early for Joshua, that's what he should have done in the first fight. But that fight's coming up on June, supposedly, if they can work it out. So that would be fantastic. June, a bunch of big fights. Speaking of big fights, MMA Champ posted this on the Discord. Supposedly, the rumor is now that Munguia's team are looking for a fight against Daniel Jacobs. Can he beat Daniel Jacobs?
Oh, who cares about that, man?
At this stage,
absolutely. Yeah. Not decided that fight at this point. I think Daniel Jacobs is kind of done at this point. I think Munguia's going to spark him, man.
Well, Jacobs even make 160 anymore?
Jacobs make 160?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
What if they do it in some sort of catch weight, just as a stay? I mean, it's more than a stay busy fight, but as a
then that's bad habits for Munguia. I mean, my thing is this fucking man. I know they owed the zone, whatever, but they should have let him fight on that pay per view. I wouldn't have bought the fucking thing, but at least they could have bought. But you know what I mean? Although Heyman did say he didn't want to put it on pay per view because he understands fans are upset, according to a source. Which is hilarious when he's putting fucking everything under the sun on pay-per-view. And tell Mr. BDA earlier when you said, well, they released their schedule. PBC didn't release the schedule. Showtime did. PBC doesn't have any platforms to release. You know what I'm saying? That was Showtime's schedule. PBC's waiting to see if they have anything from Fox. This time last year, they already, said whatever they were going to do with Fox. I think Fox is strictly just on the pay-per-view. So there's really unless he does something, signs on a platform or sells it, there's no PBC releasing anything.
All right, so listen, people have given their opinion on this potential Munguia Jacobs fight. It's meh for a lot of people, meh, whatever. It is what it is. I still think it's a good fight. But Jacobs, say what you want about Jacobs. Mentally, I don't think he's there anymore, but physically, he still got something in the tank. I mean, even at his most listless, he still gave Ryder a good fight. I mean, good enough for some people to say he should have gotten the decision. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Munguia can take him out of there and, send him back to the ER.
Jacobs does always just enough to lose. You know what I mean? He just never fucking wants to make a dog out of it. Not since he got fucking slept by Pre-Rog.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, MMA Champ, yeah.
I would push back on that. Oh,
hey, hold on. Yeah.
So Jaime Munguia versus Daniel Jacobs is reportedly now in talks, Michael Benson says. What do you guys think about that fight?
That's what we're talking about, man.
We're
talking about it now, man. Yeah, yeah. But what do you think, MMA Champ? What do you think about the fight?
Man, Jaime Munguia fighting another washed up guy. Daniel Jacobs coming off chemotherapy. This is not even.
Oh, come on, man.
It's not even a close fight, bro. And not only he's coming off of chemotherapy, but he's coming off of a loss, right? So you're fighting a guy who's not only washed up, but he's coming off a loss too. I mean, Jaime Munguia ducked what's his name, Janabek, and he also ducked Jamal Charlo. So Jaime Munguia, he he really does not want to step up and fight the best competition. So.
Yeah, he likes to fight guys. It seems that coming off losses. I've noticed that's kind of been a theme, right? Or did I read that somewhere? He fights guys coming off losses. I don't know. I've been saying it for a while, man. I think the kid's vulnerable. They obviously see something that we don't see. Something happened. His people know something, and that's what keeps getting me nervous about the other kid from the PBC, Boots Ennis. Man, that kid's got all the skill in the world. All the skill in the world. Why won't they match him against the puncher? Or at least the fucking, it's always bringing dudes up, smaller guys, guys can't punch.
You don't want to fight that guy.
I'm just saying, listen, everybody can attest to this, listen to the show. I praise that kid for all his abilities. I think the kid's an extremely talented kid, but there's questions. There's a lot of questions because he can be touched. In his fights, he gets hit. What's going on? Like, why aren't they going to he could be pushing his status too. You don't hear him trying to push his status through the belts. So I don't know what's going on. Just weird.
Well, he's already going on record saying the fact that he knows the only way he's going to get a title shot is to become someone's mandatory. And the only way to become mandatory is for other contenders to fight you, which none of them want to do. So
you're a contender. Would you want to fight Boots Ennis? Hell no.
What puncher do you have in mind, Jimmy?
Let me jump on one more thing before Jimmy goes, because I do want to hear what Jimmy has to say. But I do remember that when Floyd was on his way up and Roy was on his way up, nobody was asking these questions because they didn't fight a single contender. Maybe, not Jorge Vaca. What was that guy's? The guy from Argentina. I think it was Jorge Castro. Roy fought, but he was not exactly in the top 5 when Roy fought him. And he eventually became a champion. So I'll give Roy that. But that was the only one in over 20 plus fights, and no one really had a big question. We're questioning because he gets tagged by one shot against some small guys that had zero effect. And people have questions over this guy. This guy's got serious talent. Now, I could be completely wrong on him. He may get starched by a big punch the first time he faces one, but it doesn't seem like that to me. His skill is just, it's higher than what anybody else
can punch, man, and he brushed them shots off like it was nothing.
Exactly.
All right. Well, and
Jimmy, who was the puncher you had in mind, at the contender level?
Virgil Ortiz. I think Virgil Ortiz would take that fight. I'm just saying.
Golden Boy.
I don't know if that fight can be made.
All right.
Golden Boy is not going to make that fight.
Yeah, they're not making that. Not right now.
I'm just saying. There's guys out there. There's other welterweights on the come up. There's a kid out of Canada who just beat the number 1 ranked kid. I'm sure he's looking for a fight.
Yeah, the Satanist.
No, the white kid. Yeah. I don't know the kid's name, but this fight is out there. All I'm saying is this. I'm just repeating the same thing Steve Kim and everybody else is saying. Until you see him take a punch by somebody, like we've seen with Ortiz. Remember that I had the same question about Ortiz. I liked everything about him. Kid can crack, although I didn't like that he didn't change his speeds. But everything else I liked about the kid.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What? Green Machine? Probably one of the hottest fucking punches. That kid can crack. Green Machine.
Right, that's one. Yeah. You got me.
Yeah, and he took it, and he got rocked, and he stayed in the pocket, and he fought. So the question was asked, can he get hit by somebody who's considered a hard puncher? And everybody fights that kid Green Machine says he can crack. My point is,
I think it's Mean Machine. I think my lawnmower is the green.
I'm sorry, you're right, dude.
Yeah,
what a stoned idiot. What a loser. Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
I got a lawnmower called the green machine.
Yeah, the green machine. You're right, dude. Yeah, the Mean Machine. And that kid can fucking smack, and he hurt him. And what Mean Machine is all muscle. He cracks hard, but he fades. His conditioning never lasts past 5 or 6. That's the book on him, and that seems how it works. But in those first 4 rounds, he hits as hard as anybody at that fucking weight, and he took it. And he didn't go down. So that shows you that he has have a chin. And all I'm saying is, and Steve Kim's the same way, nobody's a bigger fucking fan of the kid's abilities. But until he takes a punch by somebody who hits as hard, at least as he does, the question's still out there.
Other than Ortiz, though, who else hits that hard?
Well, there's other guys who hit hard. I'm not saying they don't have to hit hard as Ortiz, but there's like I said, I can't remember that Canadian kid's name. There's a few welterweights. What about Ben? That kid, fucking Ben, over on the DAZN.
Yeah, he can crack him.
Fighting.
But the problem is, but the thing is with Boots, he's signed to Showtime. and Showtime's only going to do business with the PBC. So then, okay, who in the PBC? Again, is that Canadian kid. He beat I believe he was the PBC's welterweight number one Kazakhstani kid. The welterweight. I wasn't too high on him.
He don't want to lose a shot against Ennis. He's
You
thinking about
talking
his
about-
future. If he loses to Bruce Ennis, where does he go?
You talking
Well,
about
it doesn't look
guy-
like he's going anywhere, anyways, because he doesn't seem to have anybody pushing for the kid. He doesn't have any promotion behind him, which is going to hurt him big time.
The Canadian dude, you talking about the guy that beat what's the name? Abdul Kakarov.
Yes.
You talking about him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's solid. Now I always thought a good opponent for Boots Ennis or Virgil was David Avenesian. He's ranked high in the WBC. I always thought that was a solid opponent, but they never made a fight with him. And I just wonder why. He's down there. He's out for the taking. Both guys can beat him. He's straight up and down.
And I'm not dissing. I'm not dissing him like the way Tim Bradley just did. I thought Tim Bradley went a little hard on him, but his description, he's saying the same thing. Nobody knows if this kid can even take a punch yet. So he goes, that's a big question mark. But Bradley went a little overboard, as far as I'm concerned. But
the jury's still out from my observations because he likes to stay in the pocket, meandering in that area. Like if an opponent misses, he's still there close to where he can counter comfortably and have all the advantages of being within range to counter. So I don't think he's necessarily scared of a punch. He's not on his bicycle like a Keith Thurman. He's staying there. So like if you miss by an inch, he's gonna take that space, with the punch because he's all right there to put everything behind it and zap you because he's just there. So I don't know, man. He seems kind of calling
Twitch fibers.
Yeah,
great quick fibers.
Well,
I don't know if
supposedly
he's scared of taking a punch. We'll see.
Supposedly, people in the
Very
chat are
twisty.
saying, I don't know where they're getting this from, but they're saying that the rumor is Ennis is chinny and that they don't allow him to have any hard sparring in the gym. Now, again, that's just a rumor. Make of that what you will. But I do remember Lipinets stunning him a little bit. And again, it could be that it's not necessarily a chin issue. It's a hands by your waist issue. That's the real problem right there. So we'll keep an eye on Ennis, see what happens there. Let's not forget, fellas, tomorrow we got a nice day of fights. From England, we got via the zone Kiko Martinez versus Josh Warrington, the rematch 12-rounder. That's really Warrington said supposedly that if he loses this one against the journeyman Kiko Martinez, that he's gonna call it a day. Then we got via Showtime Tim Tszyu fighting on Showtime and taking on Terrell Gosha. That's gonna be an interesting one. And then on ESPN, I'm looking forward to this one. Burcheld versus Nakathila. It is gonna be a 10-rounder. Another 12-rounder. But my big question is, does Burcheld, because he was on the Polo Malignaggi podcast, speaking Spanish, by the way, with Malignaggi. I was surprised. And Burcheld blamed the Valdez loss to COVID-19. So do you guys think he's going to look like the destroyer that he was prior to the Valdez fight, or 135 against a big puncher like Nakathila? Is that going to be a...
Well, we'll find out if it was COVID or if it was that he grew old overnight, because he definitely looked wrong that night. His reaction to punches, everything was off. He looked like he grew old overnight. Was it COVID? Part of the COVID thing, they say people who survive the Wu flu, they get fucking for a few months afterwards. Sometimes they get hard, still breathing become difficult. But it seemed more than that to me. It seemed his decision making, everything. So again, that's my opinion.
I always thought he was overrated. Even prior to the fight, I was very convinced that Oscar Valdez. Hold on. That Oscar Valdez was going to win. It's because he's slow on when he delivers it. When he throws the punch, he telegraphs it just a little bit. And you all know, as I know, that when you cock your hand back just an inch, somebody can take that inch by stepping in as quick as you pull back. Somebody's going to occupy that space. So I just thought, he's just a little slow in the delivery when pulling the trigger, and he telegraphs the shot. So Nakatilla's a power puncher. We'll see if he can deal with him, because Oscar Valdez is a little bit more experimented. So I don't know.
Yeah, Gonzalo, I agree with you, man. I feel like Burchell, he's slow on his feet. And in the Oscar Valdez fight, he got so desperate, he just started following Valdez. He can't really cut off the ring. He's pretty bad at that. And he took a big toll. He got knocked out in the end. But I think it was the weight cut, man. I think he looked terrible in the weigh-in. You know what I'm saying? Face was sunken in and all that shit. Man, he's very big for 130, man. I don't know how he'll be in this next fight, but I think he'll be good at 35. He'll be more filled in. He'll probably hit harder. It's a good fight, though. I like it.
He's gonna
if
get
he has
his
anything
head
left.
boxed off, man. He's gonna get his head boxed off at 135.
And just think about this, by the way. Think about this. Let's say he was wagering against Valdez, and let's assume Valdez, because you never know. Let's say that he was using diuretics, so he was making weight just fine, eating cake and turkey sandwiches. Meanwhile, this fucking Burchell guy's got the flu, and he's draining himself to make the weight. So, hey, man, maybe at 135, it's actually going to benefit him. We will see tomorrow. That's why I'm so interested in that fight, because...
Yeah. If I may, on one more comment on that is the kind of beating he took from Valdez in that fight is sometimes career-changing and borderline career-ending. So this could be a good thing for him to move up and not have to cut that weight. But those after effects of cutting weight for more than just that last fight, for several fights, he's been complaining about making weight. Plus, fighting with an infection of some sort, whether flu, COVID, or what have you, and the beating on top of that after 9 title fights. I don't know. He's 30. He's over 30 years old. He may have already taken the
aged out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Mr. BBA, sorry, but I was laughing because of your description. Sorry, I wasn't on mute when you said I could, he's eating
Jimmy.
cake and shit, and I just started laughing because I thought it was funny.
You laugh at me again, I'm gonna have to pull a Masvidal on you and track you down when you're at the Waffle House.
Man. Right? That's why I'm making it public, dude. I wanted to apologize, man.
All right, but yeah, you guys might be right about Burchell. He could be damaged goods because. But then again, he's never really taken a beating beforehand. So, I don't know. That's why I'm intrigued about this fight. We'll see tomorrow. Whole day of boxing. I'm excited. Looking forward to it. And here's the other thing that I wanted to run by you fellas. This is insane. Amir Khan says he wants another go at Kell Brook.
Oh, no.
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? I think of Jim Carrey in that movie, fucking Dumb and Dumber. I don't care. At the bar with that fucking chick won't shut up. Yeah, nobody gives a fuck, dude. Move the fuck on. Fade into obscurity where you belong, dude.
No.
The fuck? When's the last time that dude's won a real fight?
Okay.
I mean, once, you know what I mean? When's the last time he's had a significant win? How many years ago? Was Obama president?
Yeah, you might have been, yeah. Yeah, man, I mean, this guy's nuts. You know what it is, right?
What's Amir Khan's best win?
Good question. I'm going to have to say Maidana? Way back in 2010?
Yep.
Yeah.
And at the time, was that a good win?
12 years ago. 12 fucking years ago.
A good win.
Yeah, it was.
What makes that a good win now? A beating Broner and a good performance, a good losing performance against Floyd. So in other words, it wasn't a good win, like he said.
All right, so how about Kotelnik? Was that his best win?
Who?
I'll forget it. Listen, let's move on. Yeah, like Jimmy said, look, Amir Khan's crazy. He's got a crazy ego. He saw the money that he made from that Kell Brook fight. The fact that they did a lot of the numbers at the gate and the pay-per-views as well, I think. No, wait, did they flop on pay-per-view or did they do well? Anybody know?
Didn't it do well domestically?
Yeah,
I heard it did well.
Box office.
Yeah, I heard it did well. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, his best win
This crazy number is like over 500,000.
His
I think it
best
was like
win is
700
probably
even.
Lamont Peterson or Maidana, man. You know, I feel like the Maidana fight, a lot of people thought he was gonna get knocked out, but styles make fights, man. Amir Khan was just a bad matchup for Maidana. He was just too fast for him.
Mm-hmm. Hey, by the
He
way,
was robbed against Peterson. He lost the decision.
yeah, that Peterson fight should have gone to. I thought Khan won that one, but it was close. Don't get me wrong, but I thought he should have won that one.
Dude's famous for getting folded like a lawn chair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what was impressive about the Maidana fight. He showed a steely chin.
Yeah, the fact that he didn't get dropped once in that fight against the big puncher just goes to show you that was his magnum opus right there. I wanted to ask you something too about this. Tomorrow there's like I said, the zone, British fighting, British boxing as they say over there. But it's going to be interesting because there's this woman there. What's her name? The blonde girl. I'm Googling her right now.
Oh, no.
Ebony Bridges.
Taylor?
No, Ebony
Oh,
Bridges.
Bainey Bridges. That's the Australian chick with the big guns, right?
Australian. Okay, yeah, I thought she was British. Yeah, this girl, she knows exactly what she's doing. Every fucking weigh-in, she shows up with the lingerie and the fucking thongs. Now, here's my question to you. And we're bordering on second Renaissance territory here, but is this just a good-looking woman or semi-good-looking woman not being able to resist showing her body off at any other
Of
at any
course,
moment.
dude. Listen, she's got 3 fights, 4 fights. That's how she was smart. I remember when she joined Twitter, dude. She had like 100 followers. Now she's up to like a lot, like 30,000, I think, last I checked. She got on there and started fucking throwing up the titty shots because that's what she had. I think she was a stripper before. So she's a stripper. She can take a fucking punch, and she knows, man. She's playing it up. It's. I don't understand where like women, right? Exactly. Like all of a sudden, it became like taboo. Like women like, oh, we shouldn't use our sexuality. It's part of the whole feminism thing to get ahead. Bullshit. Exploit that bitch. Show them buns, man. That chick got a banging body. Her face is a little fucking twisted up, but she's got her shit fucking tight, man. I want to see that shit. You want to go and then. And then to see her bang the way she did with the last, I watched her fight. She went in, her eye all swollen. I'm going to give the chick props, man. She wasn't just in there like a Playboy model. She was taking punches and trying to give punches. But beforehand, I want to look at her cooch.
Let me see those tits. How many cocks you jacked off? Beautiful set of tits. How about you let me fuck them?
Now listen, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I mean, Jimmy's like, listen, Jimmy, these fucking people over there are boxing. They know what it's about. They know that men are watching for the most part. We're watching this shit, and we go, yeah, I got no qualms about it. Well, maybe I do because, no, actually, I'm not. I'm not gonna take the noble road and go, oh, but this is boxing. It's supposed to be. Look, it's a business. This girl, she's good looking. And by the way, Jimmy, can you confirm if she was indeed a stripper or?
I read somebody tweeted from an Australian account saying she was a stripper. I just know, look at dude, she moves like a stripper. Dude, she poses like a stripper. I've been around them fuckers my whole life. Everything about her says pole girl. But the thing is, man, whatever it is, what it is, the fact that she went in there though and took that beating and was right in the pocket swinging, she got my respect. But she was smart enough to sell because think about it. If she wasn't about the fucking TNA, would we be talking about her right now?
That's a good point. That's a good point. She does have a banging body, by the way. I have to say.
Thick body.
What was that?
That was that noise.
Somebody's fucking. Sounds like somebody's spanking one out. But she played it up. Remember with Eddie Hearn, like the whole meme of him staring at her ass.
Oh yeah.
And then the next weigh-in, he looked away, and she's out there with the ass biters, sticking her booty out for everybody to look at. Of course, man. She knows what sells. She knows that's what get everybody talking about her. Then it was, okay, can you back it up? She did it. So now she's got herself. Now she's fighting for titles and shit. So
hey, Jimmy, she's marketing her assets.
Exactly, dude. She's got to do what she's got to do.
Yeah, man.
Do you think she's got those tits insured?
Those things been burst.
Yeah, I don't think those are real, bro.
Oh yeah, no, those are bolt-ons, dude. Yeah. Absolutely. You can see it up. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, those are fucking add-ons for sure.
Yeah.
I hope she at least has Celine pockets because if it's the silicone, she could have those things burst on her.
In my opinion, out of the best women boxers, like best looking, it's either her or Sinisa Estrada. Everyone talks about Clarissa Shields and some other women. They look like men to me, man.
Alicia Who you spoke to that thinks Clarissa Shields attractive? What?
Damn Ray, she look good. She look good.
Yeah, her.
I think Clarissa gets a little too much fucking hate on that. I don't think she says, people, she's ugly and shit. I just don't. I wouldn't call her ugly, but I'm just saying that she's not like Bridges and the other bitches.
Jimmy, that's not her name. Her name is Sir.
How can you find a woman attractive that does?
But listen, her name is Sir Clarence Shields II.
Oh, come on. Now, wait a minute. Now, see, you're going to get us in trouble there, MMA champ.
It's her personality. She's so bitter and so fucking toxic. It makes her ugly. I think, my personal opinion.
But also, Sky Nicholson or whatever, she is good looking too.
Yeah, there's a few chicks, man. What's his name? Show fucking Ring IQ. He shows the ladies. He's always posting up the pictures. That's what catches my attention. I'll admit it. I don't.
But Ebony Bridges, she doesn't really look that good to me. Like, she got big boobs, but that's it.
Well, you know what?
Bro, you drink her bath water. Who you kidding?
What? Yo.
I've seen Nicholson. Oh, yeah, I've seen her before. Yeah.
Ain't nobody on this chat would throw that fucking shit out. No way. Everybody on here would fucking bag that if they had the chance. You know
Obviously, if he had the opportunity, but you wouldn't wife her. But
Jimmy, I will have to disagree with you, sir. I've been married 26 years. I'm good.
There you go.
Dude, but that's a different story, dude. That's not because you wouldn't, because you don't find her sexually attractive. You're doing it out of loyalty to your woman. That's totally different thing. But hey, but you can be chained to the fence and still bark at the cars.
Most
right?
of us here aren't.
Like they say in the Bible, look, but don't touch.
That's
and
right.
what does your eyes say? Your eyes say that's a honey, right? If you were a single man and you had an opportunity,
I will plead the fifth, sir.
Oh,
there you go. We got the answer.
What's going on here? Well, listen, I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to make women's boxing famous and mainstream, you got to get yourself a girl that's aesthetically pleasing to look at, easy on the eyes. You can only go so far with boxing skills. And that's the way it is with women's boxing right nowadays. And by the way, did you guys see that girl? What was the name of that girl there on the Harry Potter movies? What's her name? Emma something? Is it Emma Brown? No,
Emma Watson.
Watson, yes, thank you.
Tidiola.
Did you see? Well, apparently somebody grabbed a pic of her at the red carpet, and she is looking. I think it's just one of those pictures where they caught her off guard, and she was looking. But now people are saying that she hit the wall. By the way, that photo on the left, that's a fake one. That's a Photoshop, but it's pretty close to it. So it just goes to show. Look, listen. The reason why she got so offended by this is because the women like to say, "Oh, it's not about." It's not about my looks, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it is about the looks. And that's why I'm saying is these women, if they want to be good boxers or famous boxers, rather, not good, famous, they have to rely on their looks. And that's why that's what they care about at the end of the day as well. So remember, with women, don't pay attention to what they say, pay attention to what they do. Consistent.
I'm not going to lie, though. Taylor versus Serrano is a big fight. I think it's a good fight, and a good step in the direction for women's boxing, especially, they're having Jake Paul.
Who do you got?
Promoted too. So it'll get more,
Who you picking to win? Who you got to win? Katie, Taylor, or Serrano?
Serrano.
I got Serrano,
Since
man.
Serrano's a New Yorker, I'm going to go for her, but...
See, I'm still toss up for me because Katie Taylor's been matched harder. But Serrano's a real hard puncher. I mean, it's a good fight, really is.
I heard it's going to be in the main theater in Madison Square Garden. So
that's what they say.
Yeah, so.
I'm not a big fan of women boxing, but I'm actually kind of excited for that fight, to be honest.
I think a lot of people are going to come out too, because a lot of Jake Paul's kid fans are going to come out. And there's a lot of Irish people and Puerto Rican people in New York, so.
And and from what everybody says, they're both legit boxers. So this is a legit fight. So you know what I mean? If they have nice asses, I'd like to see them too. So that's a little fucking plus, right?
I mean, they don't really look that good, to be honest. Most of these women boxers look like men, in my opinion.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like that Fox cyborg. Like that Fox cyborg.
Oh man.
Imagine that. Her breath is hot garlic all the time.
I wanna.
Oh man.
I felt like I was sexually assaulted, because at the weigh-in of Clarissa Shields, one of her events, I actually saw something bulging out of her private.
No, okay, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Stop it, man. Come on.
It's kind of funny that she talks some smack about Bridges, the sexuality part. Because some girls going at her. And it's like, man, do you have any self-awareness? Didn't you do a whole spread for ESPN in the fucking buff? Remember she was punching the fucking heavy bag naked? Like, what the fuck was that about?
That was disgusting.
You know what I'm saying? So fucking, that was silly.
When I saw those pictures, they look. It looks like she's like this. Like there was a stench coming through the screen. I don't know why. Looking at her, she looks like she smells bad. I don't know why.
It smelled like fish.
Well, not even.
Dude, it's the same thing from. Dude, I get the same. You know who fucking? She'd be a sweet person. She could be a great person. But every time I look at Heather Hardy, she looks like she would stink. She looks like she just. Every that female boxer looks like she needs to take a shower, almost like Aguilera. Remember that singer? That
Christina,
singer. Yeah, they always look sticky. They always just look like I don't know. They look like they stink.
I agree, man.
Supposedly Clarence is engaged, so I feel
Yeah,
bad.
she is.
Whoever, I
She
feel
did.
bad
They just
for
announced
whoever
that
fiance
a couple of weeks ago.
I
Is
pray
it
for her
true?
fiance.
She's got like a secret weapon, right? Like a strap-on. I think that's what they call it to discipline her.
No,
her
she has the real thing.
No, she's got the new organic ones. Yeah. All right. Well, listen. This has really hit a low point in this show, and that's saying something for this show. But listen, we enjoy going where nobody else has gone before. Okay, MMA champ, what the fuck's? You gotta mute your mic, man. We're
Dude,
hearing
the
you blow
whole
your
show,
nose.
man.
No, that wasn't MMA
the
champ.
whole show.
No, that wasn't him,
bro? Who was that?
That was somebody else. I don't know who it was. And I think somebody was spanking one too during the show. So yeah, I don't know who it was, man. But that's disgusting.
Sounds like somebody sandpapering their fucking piece of wood too. Every 10 seconds.
Bro, who's that, man?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on? All right, listen, we gotta go.
That?
I don't know, man. Well, listen, we gotta go. But hey, don't forget. Hold on, while MMA champ is still here, the prediction league. Don't forget to join that prediction league. It's going strong.
Yes. So let me make a little statement about the prediction league. So a lot of people are asking, where is the prediction league? Where can I join it? It's in the BDA Discord. So if Booch was in the chat, drop the Discord link. So that's where the prediction league is. And so far, Wavy Evan, you might not know him, but he's in the Discord. He's number one in the prediction league. So make sure you join the prediction league. Because there's a big fights, April coming up, so really show who knows their stuff.
Hey, by the way, is Wavy Van, is he the Oracle or who's the Oracle? Because there's a guy named the Oracle. Nobody know who he is, but he's always getting predictions. I think it's him, right?
No, it's Joe Jimbo. Jimbo's got the title.
Okay. Because I know there's somebody called the Oracle.
Rounds.
There's a new guy coming out that they call him the Rainmaker. Nobody knows who he is, but supposedly he's getting all the predictions right on Facebook, I think. I think he might be dropping by on Instagram.
Hey, Mr. BA, before we go, too, I just want to say one thing. Just somebody said it to me right before the show, and it's got me furious. I just wanted to address it. Yeah, it's on a topic you talk about. It's more Bucho's lane, but I got to say, man, that dude Trill Boxing from the LDBC, with what Lomachenko's doing, right? Whether you agree with his decision or not, but going over there, and I don't give a fuck if he's doing a fucking a check, you know what I mean? Checking papers at a checkpoint because they get missile attacked just like anything else. He's over there, he's putting himself, he's carrying a weapon, he could be killed. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And he stayed there giving up all this money. So even if you don't like him, you just shut up about him. What they did, that kid Trill, fucking, and he called it world news, the worst. So some Spanish newspaper that does soccer, it's a soccer newspaper out of Spain, I had a headline saying, Lomachenko, the Klitschko brothers, Usyk, go back home to fight and Lomachenko flees. Right? It was complete bullshit. Well, this is all happening. He was leaving Greece. But the point is, he started a show off that headline. He started out the show saying, and I got this, as you can see in the thumbnail, this is world news. This is from a world news, totally legit source. And I'm like, what the fuck? So you grab something, you don't put the link in the description, you just leave a thumbnail up above your shoulder for a second. So people are going to actually go investigate. I mean, obviously somebody did. They sent it to me. But then they go on to say world news and they have a call and people call in and they're saying, all this horrible shit about him not wearing the fucking country's colors. And just to know it's all that visceral, hey, what's about? I just want to say, man, fucking the LDBC in my eyes hit another low with this. And then 9 days later, he puts out another show when the rumor was that he was going to get an affirmment to be able to leave, which it was offered to him. But he chose to stay, giving up all those millions of dollars to, again, take a chance to die. They land with that too, man. Fucking is Lomachenko going AOL. I just wanted to say that sickened me. So I'm done.
Jimmy, just goes to show you what type of people they are. They don't cover boxing. like we talked about, they didn't cover the Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez fight, so they're not into the boxing business. They're into the let's criticize anybody we can, especially if they're not black, and let's just run with that. And not for nothing, but look at the people they root for. For some reason, they dislike Lomachenko, but they're fans of women beaters. They're fans of people that go into strip clubs and shoot up the place and beat up the strippers and get arrested. That's what they're fans of. So that should let you know all about the type of people.
I honestly thought they would. Yes, I thought they would let that go. I thought that'd be the one thing. Jimmy, kids over there fighting. I'm shocked. I'm just shocked. I just wanted it to be out there. I wanted it to be known. I hope somehow he hears that I said that. I think the kid's low rent.
Listen, when they're rooting for the trash talker and the woman beaters and all that, that should let you know all you need to about their type of character. So listen, I don't even know. That's why I don't even listen to them. That's Bucho's department, and even he's gotten tired of that. Because like you said, they hit an all-time low.
It was sent to me. I didn't even know. So, but I just saw it, and it was sent in the package, and I saw it all put together, and it's unbelievable. Just slimy, and he had to go past all these other headlines: CBS News, NBC News, saying that Lomachenko was leaving Greece, going to the Ukraine to grab this one fucking Spanish, and then run with that, and then start a show to get people to say horrible shit. Just weird.
Well, the desperation is real, man. The desperation for content is real for some channels. In any event, we do have to go. So don't forget to check out the fights tomorrow. Don't forget, there's going to be fights today. Pro Bellum is having 2 cards. I'm looking forward to that. There's Michael Zuski, who used to be this hotshot prospect here from Canada. He's already got 2 losses now. It's safe to say he's not going to go that far as a pound for pounder, but he's taking on Carlos Ocampo, whom you might remember got his bull busted by Errol Spence about 3 years ago. So that's going to be a nice little fight, man. I think Ocampo's probably going to beat him, maybe even beat him up late in the fight, but I'm willing to check that out. And apparently there's also Louis Ritson versus Dejan Sladikan taking place maybe right now, I think. So check those out.
Louis Ritson's a bomb.
Well, there you go. So somebody's gonna get bummed out. In any event, shout out to everybody who joined us via the panel here. Open Lines Friday, another fantastic show. That's thanks to you guys. You guys made a fantastic show. So I want to give a shout out to all of you. I want to give a shout out to everybody that donated with the super chat, everybody that was in the chat room as well. All you guys that commented and listened. Don't forget to hit the like on the way out. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. And we will be back probably on Sunday for the follow-up to all the fights on Saturday. So check that one out. Check out the documentary we did, the best of 2021's most shocking moments. And that's about it. Shout out to Don Ramon Champ, Fast Car, HJ, Eparcua. Shout out to J Money, King Bucho in there as well, Reverend Pickles, J Money. Shout out to J Money. And if I forgot anybody, well, we gotta go. But thanks again. You guys know who you are. The greatest. Take it easy, fellas. Thanks for watching.